All right, welcome to another episode of Bottom of the Bill. I think I'm peeking over there already.
No, you look good, bud. I'll turn you down.
Yeah, turn me down just a little bit.
All right, okay.
Just the hair.
All right.
We got one of my best friends in Jacksonville, a musician that when I first got to this town was just, I don't know, just connected with almost instantly. It's a pleasure to have you on, man.
Cheers,
So
mate.
cheers.
Oh, yeah.
To our collective cheers.
Yeah,
Wes is not
collective cheers.
drinking
I
with
don't
us
have a drink.
tonight. So
I have a water.
He has a water. It's all cheers. with the
Besides, it's
water.
important to stay hydrated.
Yes. Hydration sport. Man, where am I supposed to look?
That's your camera right there.
Okay,
There's
looking
your
at that.
camera right there, but
All right.
yeah, we're just hanging out. Just a couple guys hanging out.
Couple guys hanging out. That's
that's
what we
the-
should call the podcast. I think it was taken,
Couple
though.
guys hanging out.
Yeah. Well, because sometimes it's not. I mean,
Dude,
we're a couple guys. That's what it's called when it's just me and you.
Yeah. That
But-
thing's blinking a lot. Is that like going black? Is that a problem?
I'm glad that you've delegated all the AVs to me, but I can answer that question.
Can you?
Yes.
Is it supposed to be doing that?
No.
No. Oh, so
I don't know. That's a good answer.
So.
So what is that? Why does it keep going black like that?
Don't worry about it. It's
Oh, okay.
fine.
Well, can we fix it in
Yeah.
post?
Yeah, we'll
Just
fix
look
it in
at the
post.
Fix it in post.
We'll
Just
fix
look
it
at
in
the
post.
camera.
Okay.
Fix it in post. It's not going to affect anything.
Well, before we get started, everything, I want to just kind of shout out all the sponsors that we've had on the show thus far. We have Brews in Riverside, Spliffs, Sidecar. Spliffs is opening up, is doing their new location this week.
I'm so stoked.
Yeah, really?
it's
This
gonna be
week?
badass.
I
Yep.
am so stoked.
Hell yeah. So make sure you go and support them, especially right now.
Sounds
Yeah.
awesome, man.
Sidecar Jacks in San Marco. Some great like craft cocktails and all that. Wicked Barley Brewery. Please go support them. They are great friends of ours. Harleston Scotch, who we kind of got linked up with through Sidecar. And Captain Jack's up in Fernandina.
I always
Awesome
keep on
places.
thinking you're mispronouncing Charleston Chew.
It's Harleston Scotch.
No, it was good
Man,
Scotch.
I gotta
though.
say, I'm rather impressed with your sponsorship list.
Thank
here.
you.
I'm a fucking pro, bro.
Yeah,
Dude,
he's
you
got it.
You got your shit together.
I
'cause
get shit done.
I can tell.
You know,
I can tell.
and I just stopped doing it after
Big
I get
shout
it
out to
done.
all their sponsors. I'm not sure who some of them are. But
I was most impressed that we got sponsored by a Scotch company.
Yeah, well, that was
Scotch, that's
If we could
cool.
keep that going.
that was all through my boy Kurt
Yeah,
Rogers.
well, thanks,
who
Kurt
hooked that
Rogers.
up.
Appreciate it.
An awesome dude. Anyways, let's get into it.
Let's get on getting. All right, thank y'all for coming out.
Yeah.
Oh, how'd you get into? Why did you pick this career, bro?
Yeah.
Why?
Why did
would
do
you
any
get
of
started
us do it?
this whole all these shenanigans of being a
At the
musician?
time,
At the time, it was
skateboarding wasn't a great option.
Well, music's much better.
Yeah.
Skateboarding was my first choice, and then
Yeah,
music's
yeah.
my fallback.
and then I. yeah.
Went with the plan B,
I
huh?
went with plan B. I think we were actually on plan C. But, man, why did I get into it? I don't know. Because it seemed right. I don't know why I got into it. I got into it because I love to play. Heart and soul, at the end of it, that's all I care about is playing. Career was all second nature.
Right.
You know, like, I just wanted to play.
Oh, yeah.
Like, I was into it. I loved it. I loved the camaraderie. I loved every night meeting people. You know, and, like, seemed really intriguing to me, and the lifestyle, obviously, it maybe had a little bit to do with it.
Sure. Yeah.
But I love to play. Period.
Hell
That's
yeah.
Period.
When'd you start?
First started playing. I got my first guitar when I was 14 for my birthday.
Right.
I had I recently had a conversation about this too. I give anything to have the first guitar back. Do you have your first guitar?
I do, but it's in real bad shape.
Oh, see, mine was a piece of shit.
I still have my first guitar.
Do you?
Yeah.
What about the piano or
I
keyboard?
can't play it. Oh man. I think after I moved. Oh no! It all got burned up in a fire. That's a long story though.
That's. I didn't mean to sidetrack like that.
No, it's all right. Insurance fraud. I live in Florida now. Anyways, keep going.
Yeah. I would give I give anything to have that guitar back. But it was a Rockster. It had like a Japanimation style picture of a dude on it, and he was yelling "kick ass," but it said "kick ass" and then part of the last S, but it wasn't fully there.
Wow.
You know, it was like a Chinese knockoff guitar. But I wasn't really totally. I didn't know I wanted to be an actual musician, career-wise or anything like that. So I was in my late teens, early 20s.
Yeah.
And that's whenever I knew, like, that's, you know, I dabbled in it obviously a hell of a lot since right after high school. I started gigging and stuff, but when I made that conscious decision, I'm gonna do this shit for the rest of my life, I was probably about 20.
Yeah. Yeah, it's about the same here, like 20, 21, 22.
When I was young, I had to take piano lessons. That shit was forced on me though.
Yeah.
And I hated it. My Aunt Wanda, family, it was just kind of put on me, and I hated it so much. But then later on in life, I had this bubble burst one day where I was like, all that theory that I hated forced on piano for whatever reason, it just made sense all of a sudden now in relation to the guitar.
Weird.
And it was like, oh, and then I appreciated it, but it took that,
You're not the first musician in your family, right?
No, bunch of musicians in my family.
Your dad owns a music shop.
Yep.
In Valdosta.
String Theory Music, and no, it's an Adele.
Okay.
String Theory Music.
String Theory Music.
That's an awesome music store name.
Yeah, it is. It's a cool store. They're at the second location now, but still in Adele. He's been there for several years now. That was a little bit of my dad's retirement plan, stuff like that. And then, he's got this store, man. It's pretty dope. In a community that had nothing musical going on. There was nothing to do with the school systems, even kind of sucked for the music, so he's very involved in the community and very involved in lessons and being active with the schools and stuff like that. So,
awesome.
And then he treats all my musician friends that pass through it. It's on 75, so it's in a good stretch.
That's where you grew up, though?
No, I grew up in Tampa.
Near Tampa?
Yeah.
Right on.
So he just ended up there later on in life.
Oh, I see.
Yeah.
When you first started getting involved in music, do you have like any mentors, like people that kind of showed you the ropes, let you come to the jam sessions, kick your ass a little bit?
Yes. 100%. First and foremost, my pops. My dad was a huge influence on me, a musician himself. But he had a career, so he was like a weekend warrior.
Right.
And had a band called Code Blues, which my dad was law enforcement, and everybody in the band was law enforcement.
Oh, okay, cool.
And so that's why
cop band?
Yeah, it was an all cop band. And they were like
That's
blues.
a first.
It was crazy, but they were so good. They were all everybody in the band was law enforcement of some nature.
That's interesting.
And they were like a blues, southern rock, oldies kind of band. They were like the ultimate party bar band.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, and he was like a huge influence, but his involvement in the community and knowing everybody. There's a local guy to Tampa named Ed Wright.
Yeah, no.
Eddie Wright,
Mm-hmm.
and he was a huge influence on me, and not just as a player, in luthierism and dealing with working on guitars and fixing guitars and like kind of totally giving me the whole aspect of like the respect to the instrument,
Yeah.
whatever every aspect of it inside and out. That's given that object that you love so much the most amount of respect,
Right.
And it's so Ed Wright, Damon Fowler. A local
Animal
player.
guitar player,
man. Those were my local kind of heroes that like really pushed everything for me on the local scene. A guy named Molten Mike, blues player, Lucky Peterson, and all the dudes in Tampa that were mainly blues, because that's where the scene's really big down there,
Yeah, for sure.
And most of us young players, that's typically where we start.
Get started. Yeah,
yeah,
it's the easiest one
especially
to break
Florida
into.
dudes.
Yeah, for sure.
You know what I'm talking about.
Yeah, big time.
So it's that, but it was all those blues guys down there, man. So yeah,
That's awesome. What was your first experience being in a band before like you started like going on the road and doing all the other stuff?
I played with several bands before I ever got a chance to go on the road. We had a band that ended up being 4 bands just as it molded,
Yeah.
But it started off, it was called Hurricane Alley, which still to this day, one of the dopest band names for
That's
a
pretty
Florida
good.
band.
Yeah.
Right?
That makes sense.
And I'm like, now I look back at it, I don't know, is it bad mojo to use a band name again?
I don't. Depends on how.
If
on
it was
how
copyrighted, what are you trying to ask?
Well, no, it depends on
Trying to
how
get the legal aspect of it.
Depends on how it ended. You know what I mean?
Yeah, okay, then it's bad mojo.
Yeah. Yeah. Probably don't want to use that one again.
Yeah. I've always, especially in my older days, I looked back at it thinking, that was a really good Florida band name.
Yeah, I was about to say,
for
especially
sure.
for a Florida band. Yeah.
You should be like posted up in Key West and go nowhere else.
Yeah. But that band molded into a couple other bands, meeting musicians in my younger days. And then I ended up in my late teens, was in a band with my dad. And
Really?
It was Big Daddy C and the Blues Howlers.
That's cool as fuck.
Yeah. And so, but then, man, he jokes about this all the time still. And I think he's actually pissed off about it, but he jokes about it. We fired him.
You fired your dad?
We fired my dad.
Oh my
right? I
God.
know that's wrong. He jokes about it all the time, but I'm like, I think he's still a little upset.
Yeah, maybe.
It might be a bit of
That
a
was
sore
a long,
spot for
long
him.
time ago. But so it was me, a guy named Jeffrey Parker, and a guy named Matthew Brady were the rhythm section, and we're all the same age. And then my dad was the front man, and it was a really cool band. We loved it, but we were also at that point where we were wanting to go out
the
there.
front man too, and you fired him?
Yeah,
Sorry,
yeah,
okay.
yeah. We wanted to kind of go out, and we wanted to be more in a blues band. Like
Okay,
we wanted
right.
to make more money. We wanted to do more.
Yeah.
So it was just that time. And then once that happened, that was also around the point where I kind of came to that conclusion that I really do want to do this for a living. I'm going to truck at this, see what hell happens. And then it happened.
It's an interesting thing to kind of see, because I feel like the blues scene is kind of, it really allows you to see music as a real career. It's like one of the early, because like you see growing up, it's like, all your idols, and you're like, they're like pop stars and rock stars and this and that, and you're like, holy shit, well, it's either that or you're living on the streets. That's what you're told.
Right. Yeah, exactly.
And then you go to, like, especially in the bars down south, I remember going to see like Albert Castilla and David Shelley and JP Soares and all those people.
Dude, I love JP. JP
he's
is
amazing,
yeah.
and a great dude too. And then and Billy's not much of a blues guy,
I like electronic music. Keep going.
So
I remember synth for a living. What do you want me to do?
Yeah, I remember seeing those guys and being like, these guys are touring the country. These guys are touring Europe. These guys are and they're playing here. Yeah. I was like, you can make a real career without being like a complete. These guys are doing well, and they've like Albert recently won like a BMA and like best blues album of the year, and this, like, they're all doing very well. But just like the idea of the career being so obtainable, seeing them playing in bars and being like, oh well, you can do this. Not necessarily even like being a blues player or whatever, but just the fact that music as a career can be a real thing without being like a famous rock star that's making millions.
I would 100% agree with that. Blues opened up that door, but then blues opened up the door to that idealism that oh wow, I can do this for a living. But then the musicians, that once I was open to that, to see what it was all about, it made me realize too, with traveling and meeting musicians and stuff, that the idea of what a career is also so broad.
Yeah, for sure.
There are guys that make bang and buck, and they play on cruise ships, and not a damn person knows their name.
Right.
But they make phenomenal money, playing for a new several thousand people.
Right.
7 nights a week.
Right.
So
I have several friends doing that,
Yeah,
man.
I think the overlapping moral or whatever it is, like, you can just play music as a job.
Right.
It's a job.
You can still
right.
support a family.
Make a comfortable
But you
living.
don't have to be a rock star.
No, I know.
Right.
You
Yeah.
don't have to. I mean, dude, I have a good friend, Josh, lives in Key West, who, man, makes phenomenal money, sits in his underwear and does jingles for a living. And he plays 12, 13 plus instruments decently well, all of them.
Yeah.
And just does jingles and makes a killing.
Yeah.
And I'm just like, but who's more accomplished, him or me? Or
Yeah.
you? Or,
Yeah,
Right.
exactly.
Right. Yeah. That's the whole
I
thing.
think there's got to be some sort of thing to say about like the whole fame aspect of it, and like if you're not on MTV and making millions of dollars and you're just a shitty failed musician, like, no, bud, I bought this house of music. What are you talking about?
Yeah.
Ultimate making it
What are
for
you
me
doing it?
would be able to do everything I want to do musically at whatever level I want to do it at, and not a single person know my name.
That's
That's
literally
cool.
what I
I like
want.
that.
That's literally what I want in my life,
Dude,
too.
that would, how epic is that? Like, you don't
So-
know, but I get to do everything I want musically. That would be.
I just got a little excited talking about it. To be honest with you.
I would like. That sounds pretty cool, but I just want a house and a pool and a golden retriever, and then I call it a day, and that'd be fine. With
Yeah,
me.
I'd love all of, but I would love that
But
if
with
nobody
music.
knew my name with playing music.
Well, your dreams come true, bud. You're already there.
Yeah, I don't own the house that I live in, and I have a pit bull.
Oh, sorry,
which is like a poor man's golden retriever, I guess.
No, Pitbull's
I'm
alright.
just joking. I love my dog. She's
how
awesome.
bad does it snore?
She's a bit of a beast.
Oh, really?
She's not very ladylike. I could say that. much.
But nobody knows who you are. Is what I'm trying to say.
Yeah, that's
At the end of this, the point to be made is
Yeah.
when you
Nobody
really
knows who you
boil
are.
it down.
Yeah, Jesus Christ,
Nobody
yeah.
knows
When you
who
boil
the
it down.
fuck you are.
Well, yeah, you're halfway there.
happens to the best.
Right. If I could just make the money of a rock
Yeah,
star
right?
without anybody actually knowing who I am, that'd be wonderful.
Yeah, but, you know.
There's a lot of stress that comes along with it.
Yeah, exactly.
You know?
Exactly. Even with the money part too, there's the taxes and just like the accounting stuff that you have to get into, which is actually something I did want to ask you about later on because I want
Later on, don't jump around here.
I can't. I know. I get a little bit of ADD sometimes.
Stay the course, man.
You even made a list.
I know. I have a. This is
We have
really
a list.
this is really a fallback list in case the conversation's not going anywhere. So, anyways, I'm just joking. I'm just
So
joking.
to the list.
Yeah, no, I was fucking with you. For those who are listening on Spotify aren't watching, I just made a funny joke with a.
It was
gesture.
apparent because we all laughed.
You know,
Right.
I want to say that I'm a little disappointed for all the people on Spotify because they're not going to see how fly my pants are.
Bro,
It's
your
not true.
your
We're
pants
gonna-
are fly.
Dude, these things are dope.
You look good, and
And they look good on the camera. I feel
No,
like I
they
should,
look
like,
good. Everybody's
like-
everybody's still gonna be on YouTube and all the
Yeah.
channels
Yeah,
and
but
everything
Spotify
like that.
people are missing out.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah,
Look
the
at these
Spotify
angles.
people.
Are you
That's
getting these
true.
angles, bro?
Yeah.
Are you getting these angles?
Look at this I mean, for real, these things are dope, dude.
Yeah, those
Yeah,
are
I got a 16mm lens. It's gonna look amazing.
Yeah.
It's recording in 4K.
I'm sorry, Spotify, for you not to be able to observe the flyness.
I
of my
also had to
pants.
tell you to take off the sticker on your pants when you got here.
Yeah.
They're brand
Dude,
new.
they made it to the washing machine, so I don't know.
That's pretty wild.
That is wild.
That's just good American ingenuity right
Yeah,
there.
yeah. I'm sure.
I'm sure
Never
it's
mind.
from
We're
America.
not talking politics. That's my only rule.
not
We're not
political.
doing politics.
Yeah, we don't
Yeah,
do
we're doing
that.
politics.
I am running
Uh,
for president in 4 years.
Are
Yeah,
you?
Yeah, I'll be 35, so I can run
I'm
for president.
definitely not voting for you, but I'll be on the sidelines being like,
You're not gonna vote for me?
definitely not going to vote for you.
I've got good policies though.
Yeah, you got great policies. West, I kind of wanted to
Let's talk. What is it?
dive. Well, what was your first experience going on the road? Who did you play with?
Eye of the Bird.
Eye of the Bird.
Eye of the Bird.
What kind of music was it? What were you
It
guys
was
doing?
it was an acoustic alternative rock, but with very bluegrass style instruments.
Okay.
It was good. It was
it
different.
Was it your band or were
No,
you?
no. It was
okay.
my first hired experience to go on the road, and I learned so much because I realized 9 hours on day one down the road. Wow, nobody in this RV likes each other.
Yeah. Jesus Christ.
So that was a huge lesson, but also a great experience. I learned a lot, because immediately I realized I was willing to sacrifice more than these dudes were, and so I was willing to do more and go farther. So it kind of opened up my eyes on that because musician A, musician B, both have the equal amount of talent. Who gets what they want? The guy who sacrifices more to get it.
Right.
And so that was like the huge eye opener of it. Like I hate to say it, but I will. Like you guys are bitches.
Yeah.
You can't expect this.
Right.
Like we're nobodies. We're nothing. And so, and even still, I mean, I to this day, like I try not to expect anything on terms of what something's going to be because I'm a fucking nobody.
You're at the bottom of the bill.
I'm at the bottom of the bill.
Hey!
Okay, back to that. I love the fucking name.
Thanks, man.
Like, me and
Thank
Sarah,
you.
Yes, me and Sarah.
I wonder
had
who came up with that.
It was a mutual effort. Like most of the things that we do
Was
together.
it, or was
Yeah.
it the guy named Bill that came up with
No, I'm
that?
pretty.
I think Bill's reaching to hold on to something.
He's
Yeah.
he's a little bitter.
A little
He
bit.
he's a little jealous sometimes.
I was wondering how old were you and how old was everybody else when you went on that tour?
I was 20. 20?
2-0, and what about the rest of the
All guys sit around my age.
Yeah, no, you don't appreciate anything
No,
at
no,
20.
Yeah.
No. I have a strong. One of the best things I've ever learned, and I try to pass on always, is what I call the 10-year wait. Okay, and 10-year wait is put your head down, say yes to every gig, do everything you can to be where you need to be when you need to be there for 10 years. And if you haven't until then, you don't know shit. Like, you don't know shit about anything until you can have been in that kind of situation.
As Rock and Jake used to love to tell me, you don't know shit about shit. that was
Yeah.
I will never stop. That will never get out of my head.
I really like that, though, the 10-year way. That's a great
10-year
philosophy.
And it's in my life. And then once, for me, I did it. And then it got there, and I was like, oh, wow. Oh, that was cool as hell. You know, and like, I learned so much. Now let's take everything I learned and do it again.
So also don't give up either.
Time's the key
going.
to this business.
Yeah, it
100%. Everybody's like, what do you need to make it? Time.
Time, yeah. I've always said that. Like, you could be the biggest band in the world, just don't ever quit.
Yeah.
Right.
Time. That's what
Look
you
at the
need in this
Stones.
business.
That's basically what happened.
Yeah.
They never quit.
They never quit.
They still won't.
They
Yeah,
won't.
I mean, yeah, they still won't. They also sold their soul to the devil, and that's
that
why
helps.
they can't
Apparently
quit.
that helps.
What are you talking about?
Yeah.
I'm not an expert on it, but apparently that helps.
definitely helps.
That
Robert
wa-
Johnson did it too, and it worked out well for him.
That
He
was
died
There's
just-
really
rumors
young,
that
though.
Hendrix did it, but I don't know if I believe that.
Well,
one.
I mean, he died at 27.
Recipes.
So maybe.
But I feel like that would just like encapsulate. That's a word. All of 2020. It's just Keith Richard actually dies finally. And I'd be like, okay.
Bro, I swear to God, if you
you jinxed that, dude.
that, I'm gonna be so fucking pissed.
I jinxed it. He's
Yeah.
like 400 years old.
Yeah.
I didn't jinx anything. That guy's more machine than man now at this point.
Yeah.
Anyway, sorry. I'm sorry. I hope I didn't jinx it. Watch Keith
I
Keith
just love
Richards
these
dies.
sidetracks.
Keith Richards dies tomorrow. Okay, and that's on me.
So what?
Stone fans all over the world. It's on him.
Alright.
It's on Bill.
Come at me. Beals are
So
better anyways.
was that your only road experience until you moved to Jacksonville and started doing your own thing?
No. I did quite a bit of road experience with a bunch of people. And every town I would go to, I mean, I found myself for many, many years a bit of a gypsy. Not a bit. I mean, I was a gypsy. I couch surfed a lot. Found myself jumping around. Jacksonville's actually the longest I've been in any city since I left Tampa.
Yeah, we were talking about that. That's
like
crazy,
my 20s,
man.
like
yeah.
that's so and I've been there a little over 6 years. I guess it's going on about 6 years now.
It's a real sticky town. It's
How
hard
long
to get
you been
out
in
of.
this town?
5.
So I was here maybe a
5
year
years?
before you.
No, you were here like 3 years before I got here.
Was it really?
Yeah, because I remember when I first moved here, you're like, yeah, I moved to Jacksonville like 3 years ago, and it's been working out pretty well ever since.
Wow.
Yeah.
Damn, I've been here longer than I want to admit.
Yeah.
I've been here since
No, I love Jacksonville.
I've been here for 15 years. It wasn't my choice, though.
Yeah.
It wasn't my choice either, actually.
Really?
But
Somebody
we can't
dropped-
talk about that.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Okay.
No, we originally came here because my ex-wife
I thought we could
had.
we're gonna talk about it. Okay, all right.
You brought it up.
Well, you said we could talk about it.
She got a job, so that's what originally brought us here.
Oh, okay.
But it's been great for me, for my career, and I've made righteous good friends.
Yeah. Hell yeah.
You know,
man.
like
And Tampa kind of sucks.
Bro.
Yeah.
Tell his hometown like that.
No, Tampa's cool. But I love Tampa to death. Tampa doesn't have a music scene like St. Pete has a real
St.
scene.
Pete is amazing.
Yeah,
I
St.
love
Pete's
St.
amazing.
Pete, yeah.
I feel like that's
But it's
the
like the-
that's the saving grace of Tampa is everyone's like I'd be like Tampa sucks and be like, oh, but St. Pete is great. I'm like, you shouldn't have to say that.
Yeah,
if you're
exactly.
gonna defend your city.
The thing about Tampa,
I
that's,
like Tampa, just for the record.
Yeah, no, I love it too. I'll always love it.
Nah.
It'll always be where I'm from. But the
Yeah.
thing about Tampa is like, Tampa is always changing, always changing as Tampa. But like you said, Tampa, St. Pete, Clearwater, they all get thrown into one category, but they're completely different towns and cities. And
Clearwater's great too.
it's-
St.
yeah.
Pete's amazing. Tampa, I don't know.
Well, it's very much like South
Fall into the
Florida.
ocean.
I know people call the area out there South Florida, but like South Florida, like Palm Beach, Fort Lauderdale, Miami area, people lump it in together just
where
in
you-
general, until you get down there, and then people in Dade County, like in Miami, are like, no, we're not a part of Broward County, which is where I'm from. They're like, Broward County? Oh, you mean like no man's land?
Yeah.
I'm like, you guys have
Other
a Fort
side
Lau-
of railroad tracks.
Yeah, it's like, the Fort Lauderdale's like
I-
a huge city, right? There's like the boonies, Fort Lauderdale, the boon. It's like, and Palm Beach is just like the bastard child of both of them. I love Palm Beach, I love Fort Lauderdale, and I love Miami to death. But I'm just saying that once you get down there, it's no longer a lumped thing. It's very much just like no, we're Dade County, and Broward County is like, but we're part of you guys too. And Dade's like, no, you're not. Sorry.
No, I know the difference now that I've actually been to Miami and everything.
Yeah,
like
Billy
that.
went down there one time and hung out for about a day or two, and now he
2 days.
He knows the layout,
Dude,
bro.
you
He's
got
got
it.
it.
I had a great time, rented a convertible, and got a penthouse.
He speaks
Right
Spanish
on.
now too.
Estoy aprendiendo español.
Yeah,
Nice.
crushing it.
I'm learning.
Yeah, dude.
I'm
You're
learning.
gonna fit right in.
Yeah,
Dude,
I
you're
did.
good.
I did
You
fit
did,
in.
that's why they
Went to
rejected-
Calle Ocho.
Yeah, that's why they didn't want to pour you water or give you coffee or acknowledge your existence at all.
They were busy.
all.
They were busy.
Yeah, they were busy.
They had other things they needed
It's
to do.
a hustle bustle sort of town. And I kind of like that.
Everybody's on the move.
Yeah,
Everybody's on the move.
Everybody's on the move.
Bro, so when you came to Jacksonville, you started Ivy West Band.
Yeah, it was a good band.
So what was your experience? That was your first experience really running a band?
Yeah, like really like legitly trying to turn a product out.
Yeah,
you know?
going on the road and
Yeah,
like doing
yeah,
the
yeah.
whole thing.
Doing the whole shebang. Yeah, that
Yeah.
was my first one really kind of doing that.
What was that experience like, being a band leader versus being a side guy, and how did being a side guy enhance your ability to be a band leader?
The best lesson ever has always been what not to do.
Right.
So that's what I learned a lot from being the side guy type stuff is like what not to do.
Always.
In
yeah.
terms of what I hated from front people. And then that's just whenever it came time for me to doing it is that was it, was just like do all the things that pissed me off, fix all those problems, and if I could do that, then I had a decent shot of trying to build a product, but there's so many things nobody tells you.
That's one of the things I did want to ask you about. What was something that kind of came along with the job experience or the description that you did not expect to be a part of the job description?
Whenever you have, especially in this, so whenever you have this many, 4 or 5 guys, however many guys are in your band, and if you're the guy in charge, then nobody tells you that somebody has to be the asshole.
Yeah, for sure.
Like you're the asshole to somebody in that situation at some point. And somebody's got to go through and swing the machete and make the decisions, and the decisions aren't always good or bad or right or wrong or whatever, and it's just they don't and you don't really grasp that. I lost friendships over decisions that I thought were the best decision to move forward.
Right.
And so that nobody ever talks about that shit.
Right. Right.
But in fairness, I mean, I didn't do my job as a hired gun in situations before and got fired.
Right.
So like, until I was the band leader, I had a different perspective of that situation all of a sudden.
Of course.
Where it was like, I get it.
Yeah. Right.
I get it. So it's awesome to have to, and still consistently be on both sides of the coin for that situation. Be a guy in charge in some situations and then not be in charge.
Right. I remember when I was with Rock and Jake and being a hired gun in his situation, and obviously I had started my first band when I was like 21 years old, but I didn't really know what that band fell apart very quickly because
What was it called again?
Final Days.
Final Days.
Spelled DAZE. That's
This
right.
This
We
is our
went
first
there.
gig.
It
The
was-
final days are here.
Yeah.
It was a screamo band, right?
Nope. It was a. It was.
That
we
was
were
a blues band.
We were trying to be a jam band. Because I hadn't
Really?
gotten into I had just gotten plugged into the blues scene at that time, and so we had started playing some of the blues clubs around South Florida just because those are the easiest ones to get into. And I was working with an agent that had been working with a bunch of other people, and so we kind of like fit into that realm a little bit. But we were by no means playing blues. I don't know what I was playing at that time. I was terrible.
This
right.
is a guitar.
Right. And you're just like playing shit that you think sounds good, and you think that you're a lot better than you are, and the whole thing.
I call it the first, I call it dink 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 plane.
Yeah,
Because
basically
everything
that.
sounds like dink dink dink
Yeah.
dink 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 in your solo.
And there's no fucking,
Yeah.
there's no logic to what
It
you're
took
doing.
10 years to get rid of that.
Yeah, bro, I'm still
10
working on that.
10-year way.
Yeah.
I like it.
So I remember in that night, I'd quit, that band kind of fizzled pretty quickly. I joined another band called the Barron Sisters, and I was the guitar player for that.
The Barron Sisters.
Yeah.
That's a dope name.
Yeah, that was actually a really fun experience because it
They
was
didn't get to pick that name though. I don't think.
they did pick the name. There's a whole thing behind it.
Yeah, are they-
They were
are
signed
they-
to a record label.
Are they so and so Baron? That's their last name. Oh, okay.
Their last name was Baranowski, but like.
Guess what? Yeah, they didn't get to
But
pick
they joined to a record label out
They were
in
very forced in that situation.
Yeah.
they're also like super young, like they were like 15, 16 when they got the deal, not the
They didn't
deal,
get to
but
make
when
any
they
choice.
started. Yeah,
Jeez.
I mean it's just they signed a record contract to a company out in L.A. And then that's when they were putting the band together, and that's when I had gotten hooked up because the company out in L.A. were friends of my dad's from back in the day. So they're like, hey, we know this guitar player that could do this gig. So that's when I got hired on to do it.
Plays guitar real good.
Yeah, he plays guitar real good.
Real good.
And
He knows all the notes.
and I thought
It's
that
a lot
I
of no's.
could,
12 of them.
It's about 12.
yeah. There was so it was like that experience, and then once I got with Rock and Jake, it kind of blew my mind as far as like what that next level looked like. We were like really touring and like doing the whole thing and big festival shows, but I always kind of like had this thing in the back of my mind. It's like, let me just make his job as easy as possible because I would hate to be in his position.
God bless you for thinking that so young.
He explained I watched the other guys he'd have to deal with in the band, and I was just like, first off, I'm not good enough to be a dick, number one. Number two, like I shouldn't even be allowed to have this experience because I'm definitely not good enough, again. And number three, like, they all expected me to be because I was like literally half their age, everyone's age in the band. The blues bands, everyone's older. So like everyone when the band was like 40, 50 years old, and I was 24. So they all expected me to be like the whiny kid that didn't really know how to do anything or couldn't hang this and that. So I was like, I'm definitely not gonna prove them right.
You're a rock, man.
I just like, but what I didn't realize was kind of like, I saw everything that he did, and there's a lot that I learned of what not to do. There's a lot that I learned of what to do, but I don't think I realized the importance of what he actually had to do in the communication and being on top of your shit until I started my own band.
Truth.
And it's like you see them doing their shit, you're like, okay, well, that needs to be done. Obviously, I know that this is how it needs to be. But I think the biggest lesson that I learned was like communication and being on top of like we even talked about this like a long time ago about like making sure your hotels are on point before you drive into a city at 4 a.m. and realize, well, you don't have my reservation. Shit
What
like
do you
that.
mean you don't know I'm supposed to be here? I know I'm supposed to be here.
Yeah. And I would see Jake sitting there making calls as we roll into every city. Hey, this is Jake. I play the Rock and J band from so and so. Like, just want to make sure all the details are good for tonight. Then he calls the hotel. This is all while he's driving and just being on top of it all. And I was like, that's what you should be doing. But I didn't realize the importance until I started my band.
So you had to do it.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Or how much it is to do.
Yeah, exactly.
Like it's nonstop between the fine details to merchandising to having enough merchandising to money, storing money, keeping money,
your taxes,
how to spend money.
Yeah, exactly.
Stuff like that. Like what's the best play. And sometimes you got to think. For me, I always thought in like 3 and 6 month increments. On terms of money, like what's more important in 3 months and what's more important for 6 months to spend this money on, and how do those two compare?
Right.
Kind of deal.
Yeah,
and
short and long term kind of things.
Yeah. Because that's the biggest thing about this career is money.
Yeah.
You got to, dude. You every dime you make, you spend. You break $1 to make a dime.
Yeah, man, that's kind of interesting. This is kind of the whole reason why we started this podcast, is because a lot of us, especially I mean, a lot of us pursuing the original music grind are kind of having to teeter that line of the bar scene and the ticketed shows and being on the road and doing like these concert series and festivals. But at the same time, it's like if we don't have label support, we don't have investors putting money into it. We have to somehow figure out a way to get money to do it. So we play a lot of bars to get that money. What was your experience like, and what do you think the importance of? This is kind of like I'm kind of setting the question up, but at the same time, it's like you want to make sure you don't get caught in that cycle of just being a bar band, right? If you're trying to really make this career, like
I know what that's like. Yeah.
Right. So, what's the importance of teetering that line and keeping your end game in sight? You know,
It's always important to keep the end game in sight, but also that the end game changes, because I know in some of my experiences, there's been times I've put my head down and concentrated on the money way more than I did anything else.
of course.
And then that's when you get caught up into that bar circuit.
Right.
And now like you're sticking to your state. You know,
Right.
you're only traveling around the state. You're only playing the venues that are paying the absolute top dollar.
Right.
That has the house crowd that you're gonna rock the shit out of.
No ticketed shows.
No ticketed shows.
No
yeah.
data collecting on how to what your
Yeah.
demographics are and all that shit.
Yeah, you know, and so it was all about the dollar. So I've definitely got caught up into that too. But on the flip side to that, whenever I've had the bands like Ivy West who teetered both sides of the fence, Ginger Beardman now teetering both sides of the fence, like the beauty of it is, as long as you stay focused, it works, right? But the magic comes from the fact is sometimes you're now in that position where you're performing for 4 hours a night, 7 nights a week together.
Yeah.
You know, and so like with Ginger Beardman, like that's kind of always been our magic. I mean that band's barely rehearsed as a band. We just showed up and started playing these gigs. We were like, it started off to be a money band. You know, like we were playing with other people. We need to make money. Let's be a money band. And that's how it started off. And it wasn't doing the other stuff. Didn't come until after that. But it kept us playing. So now, pre-quarantine at least, now we haven't been playing much. But we'd fuck up in beautiful harmony.
Right.
You know what I mean? You spend that much time together. The playing is so. And with Ivy West was kind of the same way. We'd go out on the road and do shows, and we'd be on fire because we just spent 5 nights playing in bars,
Right.
you know, cooking it for hours on end. You know,
Right.
so we were, you know, it almost allowed to teeter, if you can do it healthy on both sides of the fence, man, it could put you at a peak of your game and your playing.
For sure.
You know, because you get that mojo and that time all together. Plus, you get and then the actual physical playtime.
Right. Exactly.
You know,
Developing your
playtime's
chops.
valuable.
It's not even playtime too. It's like performance time.
Performance time.
Yeah. Exactly.
Playtime. So playtime, like performance time, where you have to, like, I have to deliver.
Right.
You know,
yeah.
and so like I can't be sitting in a room like this where just a few dudes and blah, whatever comes out's fine. No, I have to deliver. So being at that point every night, I have to deliver. And then as the bar, even if it's a bar band, as the band gets better now and more popular, now you really have to deliver.
Right. There's an
You know
expectation.
what I mean? Yeah, then the expectation gets up there. So now we can't even phone it in as a band at this point. You know, we have to deliver, and that's the expectation. That's the killer of this career.
Yeah, for sure.
Everybody
man.
else's expectation.
Or just even your own expectations
Oh, yeah.
sometimes too, man. For me that's debilitating. Like when I sit there and I know everyone in the band has noticed it as well. Like when I get up there and sometimes I just flub.
We call him the whiff master.
The whiff master, because
He
I will get up
whiffs
there
it.
because like parts that I played a million times that I can do and that I've literally recorded, you know, and have it on a record.
Or the riff whiffer.
Yeah.
Which is also a good name.
Yeah.
That's a good one.
Yeah. it's I love it too. And it's yeah.
That would be a good
I should get a
t-shirt.
t-shirt.
Oh, speaking of t-shirts.
Make sure you're talking to your mic. Oh yeah,
I
thanks
love
a
that.
lot
He's
for
repping the fucking
repping-
Side Hustle
yeah.
tee.
Side Hustle
Love
t-shirt.
that.
Thank
Dude,
you, I appreciate it.
by far my favorite. I try to rep all my boys' shirts, all my friends' shirts, but I wear this one all the freaking time.
Yeah.
Side Hustle, just the name in general is just pimping.
Yeah.
Even if you don't know it's a band name, I've had dudes walking up to the gas station and be like, "Dude, that shirt's dope." They have no idea it's a band.
Yeah.
They're just looking at the shirt going, "That's dope."
That's badass.
Yeah,
man.
yeah.
love
I wish
that.
they knew it was a band though.
Yeah.
No, I mean, baby steps.
Don't we all? Yeah.
Baby
Baby
steps.
steps.
Yeah, I know.
But yeah, man. Like my own. Like my own expectation of what the show needs to be gets in my head. So, and like if we're playing at a bar, I don't really give a fuck. And those end up being our best shows a lot of time because I don't give a shit.
Yeah.
But like when we're what ends up happening is that I know if we're doing a ticketed event or we're playing out of town or something, what ends up happening is like these people just spent money specifically to come and see us.
Yeah.
And like we're playing our music and we have to do it in a way that makes their time worth it and their money worth it. And that's what gets into my head. I'm like, I can't do this. And I just start flubbing shit. I mean, not that I can't do it, not that we don't have good nights, and not that people might not even notice a lot of the time. But for me and everyone in the band will definitely tell you.
You just have to not care the whole time.
Right, exactly.
No,
Sean's great with that.
That was going to be my point. One of the best things I ever did was get to the point where I told myself, I don't give a shit anymore. I don't care.
It's just another gig.
Yeah, it's just another gig. I don't give a shit anymore. I don't care if I play good. I don't care if I don't play good. And once I got to that point, I started to actually play so much better.
Right.
Because I didn't care anymore.
You're already defeated before you even start playing if you're in that mentality.
Yeah, exactly. And so like I kind of got to that point where it's just like I'm never going to meet this group of people's expectations. So now I don't give a fuck.
There's no such thing as a perfect show. I like saying that.
Yeah, definitely.
Anyways, that's my philosophy.
And so once I got to that point, it made me realize that I don't care. This is so now if I fuck up, I'm gonna fuck up the most awkward, brilliant musical way I can. And if you didn't catch it, I might just repeat it.
Yeah, right.
And I don't care. And once I started getting into that mentality, my playing definitely elevated it a little bit.
Yeah, that's jazz.
You know,
that's basically what jazz is. Just
fuck up twice.
Fuck up twice.
That's why there's 2 Z's.
Do it 3 times if you really need to make a point.
Yeah. There you go.
I saw a buddy guy in concert whenever I was younger, and he hit a really gnarly bad note, and then he hit it again and again and again, and then he pointed at the audience and smiled and hit it like 8 more times. And at that point, it wasn't a part of the show. It wasn't a bad note.
Yeah.
It was one of the most epic points of that set.
Right.
That's that part. Everybody thought, dude, you see that? That was crazy.
Right.
My cousin was his manager.
Really?
Yeah.
Dude, I'm a huge Buddy guy. That's on my
I'll let him
top
know.
3 list, man.
Yeah.
Buddy guy is by far, dude. Everything I've tried to be as a front man or understand the concept of what a front man does for a show.
Yeah.
Has that guy delivers every time I've seen him. I've seen him so many times.
I think he has such a weird name.
Buddy guy.
Yeah, just think about it. Like,
Just
Buddy and guy.
yeah, I don't know, whatever, but
whatever. It's on his parents, not me.
I don't know.
He's the reason that that's actually, I'm pretty sure it's his stage name though. That can't be his real name.
I don't know if that's his real name.
But he's the reason
Huge
why
blues fans should comment on this.
Yeah,
and
for
let
sure.
us know this kind of stuff.
For sure. Clapton plays a Strat because of him.
Yep.
And like a ton of guitar players play a Strat because like they saw Buddy Guy playing a Strat and they're like, that's a country guitar, right? And he was like, I don't give a fuck.
Yeah,
and then they saw him play and then they were like,
polka dots on it.
Yeah, exactly. And they saw him play and they were just like, oh, I guess I'm gonna play a Strat now. It's pretty wild.
So like, it's funny because I feel like there's 2 ways you can play, like Strats.
I'm gonna get a drink while I talk about
You
guitars.
go get a drink.
He doesn't like
Piano
guitars.
players.
Finds them boring.
There's like 2 ways you can play the Strats. You can play the Strats on the neck positions, position 1, 3, and 5,
Right.
or you play in the parallel positions, right? And so everybody who leans in those, they kind of lean to a certain style, and then then there's Buddy Guy,
Right.
and
right.
he's like, he just plays Strats different than most Strat guys.
Do you know who else plays Strats different than most Strat guys?
Who?
Is Willis Gore.
Dude, for real.
Yo.
Yeah.
So I saw him last night. I went to the Spliffs Jam for a little bit.
That was the last one, too.
Yeah, the last one at
I
that
was
location.
at Swanee
It was
in
a
the
lot of fun.
Treehouse. Oh, darn.
So I didn't realize this, but Chris Underdog got up and played through Willis's rig, and he was like, do you know that Willis plays with his treble dimed out and his bass rolled all the way off
Yeah.
with a Strat?
Yeah.
And I was like, I did not know that.
Yeah.
He was like, so I'll tell you this. I couldn't make it sound good, but Willis gets up there and is fucking like guitar god shreds, and you're just like, yo, that sounds so fucking good. It's like
100%. And no, I do know this. And now, sometimes it sounds great. Sometimes when you're at the mercy of being the guitar player that has to stand next to him with the trucks, I'm like, this is cutting my head off.
Yeah, I bet.
But no, same thing. I could pick up his rig at his settings, and it's so over the top bright. But it works on him.
His big old sausage
Everybody's
fingers,
got
bro.
yeah.
He's fucking lays into that shit.
Dude, it's crazy. The humming, and also he plays the humbuckers in his Strat.
Oh,
And so,
okay,
but he does it well where it still sounds like a Strat.
right.
You know,
Well, that's because he has the bass roll all the way off and the treble
treble
dimed out.
timed out.
It's like, bro.
Through a Vibrolux 210 too, like an iconically kind of bright amplifier as it is.
Exactly.
So,
I love that though. I don't know how he makes it sound so good. He was playing last night, and it was just like, I heard him. I heard him after I realized what Chris told me, and I was like, how does that sound so fucking good out here?
you know, I've never actually got into the. I should get into the conversation with him, but I don't know if he rolls his tones, if he's got.
Okay, yeah, that's a good thing. Yeah,
I tend to run my amps a little brighter because I do use my tone knobs a lot.
yeah,
But I if I have to guess, he probably rolls his tones.
yeah. That makes sense.
I doubt he plays with his volume maxed out either.
That would make a lot of sense.
Yeah.
I try to do it with the telly. Sometimes it doesn't work out.
What?
If I roll the tone on the telly, it loses too much output. But I also don't play
Really?
very trebly.
Is it a stock? What kind of telly you got?
Just a standard.
It's all stock.
No,
you
no,
can
no. I changed out the pick. I have a Barden in the front and then a 51 no-caster in the back. Then I put a 4-way switch in it also. So it goes to the humbucker setting.
Yeah.
This is super
Okay,
interesting.
yeah. People don't like when we get into the gear talk.
No,
Oh,
is
I'm a
great.
gear nerd. I am
Yeah, I know.
I am a
Here's
super
a question:
gear nerd.
Why
Does
you
my
guys-
belly keep hanging out?
Well, you know, but every one
I'm
of
getting
your
fat for quarantine.
oh well, every one of these different guitar tones and everything like that still sounds like a guitar though.
Yeah, okay. No, don't.
Says the synth player.
Yeah.
Yeah, literally.
Dude, all that shit sounds like a synth to me, bro.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
I don't-
Yeah,
Alright. Yeah,
it's
okay,
just
maybe that's what it
loud
is.
screeching sounds that sound like they're made by a robot. That's what
I'll
it
be
is.
honest, not all
Don't
of
be
them
so
sound
hard on
good.
yourself, man. Is that what you're saying? That's what your guitar tone
No,
sounds like?
that's what your synthesizers sound like.
No,
or maybe
I-
it's just the way that you play them. I
I
don't
can
know.
tell different guitar tones and everything like that. It's just always a joke that you get so into about how to
You
make
know
a
what's
tone.
crazy,
I'm
though,
just
is
like,
like-
oh my god, you got to do so much hardware just to make it.
I've
And then
kinda
I'll go on a
come
synthesizer and just be like, boop, 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 and it's like just turns into a completely different instrument.
It
Well,
does. I've kind of come to this conclusion though lately. I keep getting amp conversations with quite a few friends lately, and I'm like, I'm kind of getting to that point where it doesn't matter.
doesn't matter at all.
It doesn't matter. Like nobody, the only person who ever can tell the difference is the player.
Right.
You know, and it's like,
Yeah.
that's like they're
That's what
the
I'm
only
saying.
person that can tell the difference. So I'm like, it really doesn't. It doesn't matter, you know, because I get into the debates all the time because I went to a solid state rig, which is a big no for coming
guitar players,
Yeah,
yeah.
especially coming from a blues background.
Yeah, exactly.
You know what I mean? And so, but it's like, does it really matter?
Well, that's what you and I were talking about the other night. It was like I'm pretty sure that most people, once you get to a certain level, can make anything work.
Sound good.
Yeah, and it's just like that's the point that I got.
Will it
to.
score? It doesn't. You can put them on whatever piece of junk acoustic to whatever guitar and whatever rig. He could jump on my rig, and he's still gonna rip and sound like Will it
Yeah,
score.
exactly.
You know what I mean? He'll
Those
always
two
have that
sound different, acoustic and electric. I will say.
Yeah, but he'll always have his vibe.
Jesus Christ, he's such a.
I'm hating
Yeah, I know.
because this I cannot.
He
keep
also
up.
thinks Stevie Ray Vaughan and Derek Trucks sound exactly the same. So I mean, what are you gonna do?
Dude, I'm out of here.
I've never said
I thought
that.
you said that.
I thought this podcast was legit. I'm
No,
out.
Billy
It's
doesn't know
not.
anything about
It's the
guitar
bottom
players.
of it.
It's the bottom of it.
And secondly, I never said that.
Yeah, you did say that. We were in the van one
When?
time, and I showed you a Stevie Ray Vaughan tune. I showed you a Derek Trucks tune. I was like, "You think those guys?" Because you're like, all electric guitar sounds the same.
No.
And I showed you those two guys.
You're putting a lot of words in my
and
mouth
no,
on for everybody to hear recorded
I swear
right
to
now.
God.
I never said that.
Swear to God.
I said all
this
that
conversation
all the soul music that you were showing me and everything like that is basically the same.
happened. Right.
It all sounds like the intro to Saturday Night Live.
Okay.
That-
by
I did
soul,
say that.
By
You can quote me
soul-
on that.
By soul, he's calling.
I compare saxophone players by do they sound like the '90s Saturday Night Live band? That's
See,
like-
I know I'm not the only one.
That's how I judge saxophone players.
But Billy is also calling Jaco Pastorius soul music, which is like, bro, we weren't even listening to soul, we were listening to jazz.
Whatever.
It's just like
It's jazz.
you don't know anything about music. That's just what it comes
You
down
don't know
to.
anything
Ooh.
about my side of music either.
I do. I know pretty much.
No,
what-
you
I know
have no
pretty much
clue.
everything about
You have
it.
no clue.
Exactly.
That's what I know.
That's
Or
what
before.
that's what guitarists think. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
That's
cool.
what Billy listens to. It's just the same. As long as it has that drum beat, he's good.
Oh yeah, I'll make fun of you, but I love that vibe
And you
about
called
y'all's
me-
band though.
Oh, that 4 on the floor
Yeah,
shit.
because there's
That's all
times
his
where
contribution.
I see y'all in at night and I'm like, this shit is so dope.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
Is
'cause you
this
have
something
that
super
borderline
popular
club
that
feel
everybody
at
likes
times.
and will make us a lot of money? Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, let's stop doing that. Let's play blues that's been dead for the past 100 years.
I don't
Let's
play-
do that.
Damn.
Anyways, keep talking about guitar tones, and I'll just sit over here like a jackass. Because that's what I am, basically.
That was a good. Well, I mean, you are that, but yeah.
Yeah, all right. Keep going. Why'd you stop?
I love it. I love it.
Billy loves it.
No, for real though, that is actually, I love that vibe about your band because there's times where you are so borderline club worthy.
Yeah.
Of like nightclub,
Yeah.
you know, and I'm like, it's so dope, especially at 3:00 in the morning. You may or may not be under the influence of things.
Right.
It's awesome.
It's
Yeah.
It's dance music.
Yeah.
It's
I get
great.
it.
I've always said, if you can't dance to it, it's not music.
I love that ultimate where you got that
That's a
build
crazy
up,
thing to
That's
say.
that
not a
build
crazy
up,
thing to
that
say.
build up, and then that the one happens, and then you want to jump.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, no, it's a great contribution to what we do, and that's awesome.
I love
But
that.
to say that if you can't dance to it, it's not music is a crazy thing to say.
It's not.
You know that, right?
No.
That's insane. Anyways, we're getting off topic here. We're
I
getting off
bet
track.
Beethoven would be very disappointed in that
I can
statement.
get down to Moonlight Sonata.
Okay.
Yeah, that's all about.
So
And I'm not even saying that your music, or Derek Trucks and that sort of soul music that you can't do. You can dance to that too.
Yeah.
I was not including you.
what about like Return to Forever or like Weather Report and bands like fusion bands from the 70s like that? That's not music.
It's music. It's just like, I don't know.
Oh
You're
my
just
God.
kinda
Can
show-
you
you're
dance
just
to
showing
like
off,
math
really.
rock?
Billy actually you like
Like
wait, was
math rock?
Was it you?
Math rock?
You like the
yeah, I
blues,
love
right?
math rock. Like,
Like, can you,
battles.
like
can you
Muse?
dance to that?
Oh, I see what you're saying. Yeah.
Because like
Let me just say-
it's not music though.
Well, let
To
me
him, it's
just say.
something else.
Let me
That's not
say then.
music.
Let me
yeah.
iron out my
why don't you
philosophy.
iron it out a little
the
bit?
best music is the music you can dance to.
Okay, bro.
Oh,
That's fucking stupid.
It's not stupid.
Anyways,
I'm just
do
being
you feel
dumb.
better about yourself now?
I do.
do you feel you got it all out?
I had
you
it
get
all
it out?
inside.
Did
I
you
had to interrupt and you went on for like 20 minutes about guitar tones. So
yeah.
here,
We
here
gotta
we
talk
are.
about that.
Anyways,
Um,
what about your Tele Fender Stratocasters? All right, keep going.
Anyways,
I'm messing around.
So
I'm just trying to have fun.
yeah, we're having a great time.
I'm having a silly
He's
goose
stretching
time.
here.
Yeah.
I am stretching. Here.
So it always feels pointless to come back to this. But Billy's derailed the
I
conversation.
just- that
I
was
mean,
complete
I'm not even
derail.
sure what we were talking about.
You were
so-
talking about guitar tones.
Well, no.
Oh,
So
how amazing they were compared to synth
synthesizer
tones?
sounds. Yeah.
Nope, I added
Yeah.
that.
Yeah. So I actually do want to ask you though about your. So you did Ivy West and you learned all of these things about being a band leader. How did when you went back to being a side guy like with Melody Trucks and other experiences you might have had recently? What did you bring to that experience?
Keep your mouth shut.
Okay, so that's the way that you knew. So you didn't know how to do that before you did Ivy
Yeah,
West.
no. Yeah, no. Yeah.
Yeah, that's
Something
hilarious.
I have to work with is just because I have an opinion doesn't mean it's right.
Right.
You know, and I'm strong enough to understand that. And then something that just keep your mouth shut. You know, I try to, in other band situations that I've been in later on, like if it's not my way, it's fine. They're hiring me.
Right.
It's their way. So just
exactly.
just do your part and to the best of who you can and what you're willing to do too. Like, so if you don't want to be if you're a musician, you don't want to be in this situation. And if you don't like the way things are that they're running their ship, then, get off and go somewhere else.
Yeah, exactly.
Go find what you want. And that's the beauty of this. Every time I've left a band and went to another band, my career escalated in some aspect. One thing or another, it's always been one step up. Every time, may it be financially, may it be the traveling's better, whatever the situation is, every band that when I left, it just got better.
Yeah. Well, you
Yeah.
set your standard. You
Mm-hmm.
know what you're willing to put up with. That's something that comes with a lot of experience.
Mm-hmm.
Just getting older, and you're just like, you know what? I don't know that I want to say yes to everything anymore.
God's truth.
I don't know that because I already see I've done this. I know where this is going,
Mm-hmm.
and I don't. And I also like you look at people sometimes, and you're like, I either don't believe what you're saying, or I don't believe that what's
it
actually
takes.
happening. Yeah,
Yeah,
exactly. What
yeah.
it takes, exactly. You
no,
know.
no, that's what does it take? How much you're willing to sacrifice?
Which also which
How
also
hungry are you willing to get?
yeah, exactly. And also it kind of makes people that have been in that situation a little bit more valuable, but also can sometimes, if you don't learn
Taint 'em.
yeah, exactly. So it's like, but it also becomes like you are more valuable. You're more valuable because you can be the best side person that you can possibly be if you do value yourself that way, because when you don't, you call it like the only if you've led a band and you've also been a side person, you know that you only call out bullshit when it's absolutely necessary.
Last resort.
Exactly.
Last resort,
So
yeah.
it's like then you go into a scenario and say, look at man, like if you legit know what you're doing, I know exactly how this goes. I will be the best person to take on the road. If you don't know what you're doing, I could be the worst person to take on the road.
Well, see, I've kind of gotten to the point where too, it's like even if if you're meeting my criteria, I'm gonna sit back and just watch the show.
Exactly what I'm saying.
You know,
yeah.
I'm kind of at this point now where I notice a lot of things. I know what's what. I typically have a good idea as to how things are gonna play out sometimes.
Right.
And so like, I'll sit and you're meeting my criteria. I'm gonna watch the show.
Just watch the
Just
show.
watch
That's
the
all it
show,
is.
See what happens.
Vice versa. But the other end of that, it's if you don't see shit going down the way you want to, it's like you won't even call it out. You'll just quit.
Yeah.
Probably, most likely, right?
Yeah,
I mean,
I've done that.
Could
I've
you
done
two
that.
provide an example of what you're speaking of? Because it's a little
Sure.
bit vague.
to
Me, anyway. Sorry.
You know, for sure. West probably has definitely has more experience than I do with this, so maybe you can shine some light on what you might see a scenario worth calling out, or not, or just quitting. You know, rather than
just not happy with this, whatever. Everybody has an idealism of how business should be run, right? And so that's where I said earlier, like, I have to tell myself a lot sometimes, even though I have an opinion on how things should be run. It's not necessarily right.
Yeah.
But also experience has taught enough, guys have done it long enough to know how things should be done and what are generally going to be a bad decision, and things like that. And like, you got to choose your battles accordingly. That's what my dad used to say, choose your battles wisely. So on when you step up and say something.
right.
And like, when is it worth it? And I don't necessarily want to get out too crazy and say too many scenarios, but
So I can talk about scenarios that I haven't personally experienced, just because I haven't but like I know what I'm
You want
looking
to talk
for.
about that cover band that we were in for a little while?
No, well,
I know that's a great example.
Well, no, I mean I can talk about just in general what I wouldn't be looking for, and I know that, for instance, if I'm going along for the ride, right, I want to know that you have a plan. If we're going to record a record, I want to know that you have a plan for how it's going to get released.
Right. Yeah.
I want to know that if we're going on the road, I want to know that I don't have to be aware of all of it. I want to know that at least like how we're getting paid and what that pay looks like, what the deal structure is, what the load-in of the venue that we're going to is. Are hotels provided, or do we have to work that out ourselves? I want to know that you are in control of the situation.
It's
right?
so close to a cult. It's like there's a cult leader and he's in charge of everything, and you just follow that guy. Or girl.
No, I don't look at it as a cult. I look at it as business.
It's a business.
Business,
Yeah, I
but
look at it as business, and that's
yeah, I guess so.
Like, if you want to rip it down to basics, we are being hired for a product that we advertise.
Right.
And so, like, if you were any other company doing said business, what's the most efficient way to get product from point A to point B, the most reliable, most efficient, most cost-effective way to do it, and having that structured, planned out. You can't think about this business like I'm in a band. Like, it's got to be business. You got to think about it like, break it down to business.
Especially these days, man. There's the days
All
of
it is
like playing
nowadays.
in clubs and just hoping
Might
somebody
be gone.
discovers you. That's, I mean, like,
Yeah.
if that was gone 10 years ago, it's way in the past now. It's like not even.
Well, so here's the thing too, man. Like, first and foremost, nobody gives a shit about how good you are,
right.
right? Because generally speaking, 9 out of 10 people are pretty fucking good
Yeah.
who are trying to make a living out of it. So nobody gives a shit how good you are. It's how you play the game. how you go through the paces to get where you want to get. Because as good as you think you are, there's a dude half your age that'll smoke you.
Yeah, which is
You
why
know,
I never
and-
went to LA.
You know, and it's like, and you know, we with Melody Trucks, man, we did this music masters camp in upstate New York, and it was originally put together by Butch Trucks, Luther and Cody Dixon from Mississippi All Stars,
Yeah.
O'Teal, you know, and they had this
Jeez.
masters camp, and we had the privilege of going 2 years in a row with Melody, and it was amazing. But it's like a very invite only kind of situation, and or you pay a lot of money to get there. People sponsor you, so you got to be like, whoever's there is kind of somebody in the playing world, right?
Right.
And like, so they do these clinics all day long, and then at the end of the evening, all the big honcho people host their own little open jams throughout the property and stuff, and you just walk around and go to all the jams and stuff. And there was at some point where I realized I was standing in this room with all these 12, 13, 14-year-old kids, boys and girls, and I realized I'm the worst guitar player in this room.
Oh man, Wes.
I don't even want to get up and jam.
Oh no.
Because I'll know who that 12-year-old girl is, and I'm not jamming with her.
Same, man. The level of talent out there these days.
It's
I
crazy.
don't-
Everybody's good, man, and it's like, so like
I
at
like
that point, whenever you're competing at that kind of level, just really being good matter.
Well, the thing is, you know, it's like, so our friend Nico, who runs Real Time Management, is a manager of the Honey Hounds, and
I've been watching all y'all's, but I haven't watched the one with Nico yet.
I'll send it to you just
Nice.
for free because
I know where to
we have
find
it on the Patreon account.
free.
It's only up on the Patreon account.
We'll
You have to pay
we'll
for
hook
it.
you up with
I'll
our
send it to you
podcast.
just because I want you to watch it.
All right, I like it.
He brings some, but he talks about some stuff. He was doing a similar thing to what we were doing, where he brought like one of his first guests was Chris. I can't remember his last name from Atlantic Records. Okay, and
Like from LA, like
no, he was based out of Nashville.
oh.
But so he had him on, and it was a live stream. So I watched, and it was a Google Hangout session that. So I watched it, and I was asking questions. I was like, first off, what is the role of a label today? And
It's a valid question.
what are you looking for in bands? And the role of the label I'll get to in a minute, but the thing that I took away from the most was like what we are looking for in bands. He's like we want to see somebody who is a CEO. We want to see somebody who knows how to run a business.
Yeah.
He's like, you know, and then the rest of this stuff comes afterwards. But like, we don't want to, like, when we approach you with a question and what your vision is, we don't want to hear just like, well, you know, this is what kind of band we are. So we want to see the vision. We want to know that you have your business on point before we make the investment into your business.
You know what's crazy is like that. If you look at any of the big household name pop stars, country stars, anything of that nature, like that should be actually obvious.
Yeah, of course.
You know, like
man.
you look at Zach Brown Band, for instance.
Yeah.
He went.
Don't laugh at Zach Brown Band.
No, I'm saying that's a great example.
Yeah,
that is a good
I
example.
absolutely love Zach Brown Band. But like, so they started off, they're a Georgia band.
Yeah.
They were starting off playing bars, traveling, doing all this stuff. They build, they get signed. Now they have a CMT TV show about their cook. Yeah, you know, and like he's got charity events going on. He has some type of facility for special needs kids. Like it turned into an empire.
Right.
It wasn't just I'm gonna sing country tunes. I built
An empire.
and like so like that's like they got like 100+ person crew that goes on each night on tour with them. You know, so like that became
You better believe that he knows what his overhead is on that before every show.
Yeah, you know,
You
so
know?
like it's not just a band, and that's so I understand. Like it's funny that you say that because to me I feel like that should almost be obvious at this point. Whenever you look at any of the big names, they turn into clothing name brands. They have shoe endorsements. They have whatever it is. They
Music
become
is the last thing they're making money on at this point.
at that point. You know, like Brad Paisley. Like,
Right.
So
like
keep practicing, children.
that guy makes more money to show up and sit and take a picture holding one of those pictures than he does on shows.
Who'd you say?
Or selling
You know,
records.
Brad Paisley.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
You know, and like
No, he's doing a hell of a job with nationwide commercials. I'd say.
Yeah.
he's
yeah,
probably
exactly,
making yeah,
exactly.
but that's exactly it.
He's
It's
so
more
short
about how
too.
do you build that empire more than it is and as ironic as it is to say it, rappers have the whole hip hop culture has Dynamite like really got that concept
Bro,
down.
50 Cent made more money selling vitamin water.
Jay-Z owns an NBA team.
Yeah,
Anyways, let's
exactly.
keep going
But
about
you
it.
know what I
Yeah.
mean? It's just like those guys were like, all right, I'm gonna rap, and it's gonna make me this much money to do this, 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 and this, and then it was an empire. It was a constant. How do you grow this bigger?
Right,
You
and
know?
I think like,
It's very weird now.
well, I mean, I think that if you take the right steps to get to where you have to go, you learn these things as you go. This
Sure.
is why you don't really see a lot of people coming out of those singing competitions.
But when you're
doing
10
a
years
whole
old
lot
and they're teaching you how to
afterwards.
play piano, they don't really tell you that. They're
Well, no,
like,
but right, and that's why a lot of people don't. That's why like doesn't necessarily like just because you're good
yeah,
doesn't mean that you become successful, because if you don't know how to
a
run
lot
the
of good
business,
players that
yeah, me too.
that would kill to do half the stuff I get to do.
I know.
Yeah.
You know, that would smoke me as players.
yeah,
You know, but don't
I-
have the right attitude,
I don't
or
deserve it.
you know, and
or just
for
don't
me-
think about shit.
Yeah,
you know, like
yeah.
beyond just like the next gig or something. You know, it's like what like, hey, we're gonna get paid this much money this year. Okay, cool, yeah, I'm there.
Yeah.
So that's all you think about. It's like there's so much opportunity within this field of music where it's like, don't limit yourself on thinking just because like you're good, like that's gonna get you anywhere you want to go. Like think about the business end of it. Like if you're really good, then that only enhances your chances of being successful if you have a business mind and you really think about how you can utilize this stuff, you know. So you have to just make, once you start making money, surround it, like none of us, I'll speak for myself here. I don't know what it means to have a shit ton of money in the bank. I don't know what it
I don't
means.
either.
I don't know what it means. I don't know what it means to, like, I don't know what to do if I did have a shit ton of money in the bank, but what I would do is find somebody that knows what to do with that and be like, yo, how do I grow this?
Yeah.
What am I, like I have ideas
Oh,
what I
that's a
want
good
to do.
idea.
How do I take, and that's why people have business managers and money managers, because these are the people that you speak with about once you start making that big chunk
Their
of
job's
change.
making money.
Their job is to make you more money because it makes them more money.
Yeah.
So it's like, okay, what do I do here? And obviously you want to be skeptical. You have to be on top of your shit to a point where you have to know when like bullshit, when you see bullshit, because even those people are trying to take your money.
Everybody's trying to take your money.
Everyone's trying to take your money. So you got to be on top of your shit. But at the same time, like, find people that you trust, surround yourself with them, and take their advice, and figure out where to put your money in places that's going to set
Invest
you
your
up.
money, people.
Yeah. And
That's a good idea.
And this is a business, man. Like,
is.
I love playing
I
music.
think it's a
and-
phenomenal idea. I've never invested money.
Yeah,
I have absolutely no money, but I have a lot of really nice guitars.
I see.
All my money's tied up in real estate right now. I can't really loan you anything.
Yeah, I'm paying a lot of money in rent. All mine's in fucking real estate. Also.
I have absolutely no money.
Yeah. All
All right, bud.
You gotta talk about something. Or are you all right there? No, but I mean, like,
Start a relief fund. Good lord.
no, but I mean, but it's just you have to be, once you start making money, just be smart about it. There's a lot of guys, or 2020, a lot of women
2020,
too, right? So,
them,
or just a lot of
them,
people,
Just a lot of people.
a lot of people in general,
Reptilians.
that make right.
Keep going.
That make money in this field, and don't set themselves up to let that money work for them, because again,
Yeah.
it's always about the next gig. You can make really good money always thinking about the next gig, but you're never going to set yourself up to a point where if this all goes to shit, where like a pandemic comes in and you can't gig anymore, you didn't set yourself up
Yeah.
for this
Truth.
scenario.
Man,
or where streaming comes into play, you can't sell records anymore. David Crosby is broke. David Crosby is one of the most incredible musicians, songwriters of all time.
Who's
and this
he?
dude, okay.
I
this
don't know.
dude, Crosby, Stills, Nash.
Oh,
and
that
it's just
guy.
like,
Dude, you should really get out more often.
or just listen to music in
Yeah,
general.
yeah.
You know, it's not like Four on the Floor, deep German house kind of shit. Just listen to
Say the
something.
exact same that you, but keep going.
No, yeah, but
Just an honest question. Who's
just
that?
know who the legends are, but no big deal. But yeah, so he didn't set himself up for. Because there's a whole article that he did about streaming and how it's like how musicians aren't making money anymore. I was like, well, there's a lot of musicians that are doing real well right now, and you must have not set yourself up outside of record sales in order to sustain.
But he's also a different generation too.
different generation, but a lot of people. I mean, look at like Paul
Probably
McCartney.
like 2 generations ago,
Paul
I'd say.
McCartney's not struggling right now.
Yeah, he's
No.
the richest
Like
musician
Neil
in the world.
Young is not
Sir
struggling right now.
Paul McCartney.
Sir Paul McCartney. Sorry,
the real
you're right.
Paul's dead anyways.
Yeah.
so.
1966. He
He's
was taken
not.
out.
He's
Car
not.
Dude, I'm
accident.
telling you, man.
He's
Look it
not.
up.
Look
It's
it up,
legit.
bro. Sergeant Pepper's Abbey Road. Play
Aren't you the
Revolution
conspiracy
backwards.
guy?
Revolution
No,
number 9.
he's a conspiracy
I'm a
guy.
conspiracy guy.
I'm not. I'm the exact
The real,
opposite of
the
it.
real Paul died.
There's no such
Now,
thing as
that's
ghosts.
not to say they didn't replace him with a better dude.
Did you say RuPaul died?
What?
Oh, the real Paul died.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. I'll derail anything if you give me the chance.
Sidetrack.
I did want to kind of get into.
Let's get back to this list. We
Yeah.
really need to.
I wanted to ask you about like your endorsements and stuff like that. Is you did a lot of cool.
Yeah, I've had a few.
Yeah.
No big deal.
Ask me a question. Sorry.
Well, no. Basically, how did you get those endorsements, and what do you recommend to artists coming up? Is that something that they should be focusing on?
Most of it's been right place, right time, and then asking.
Right.
You know, but don't get. And so I've learned lessons in the endorsements. Getting endorsements for the sake of it, getting them, and then getting ones, and the difference in the interaction with those companies compared to the ones that I really wanted, you know, or because I really liked said product, you know. So I have a few. Shubs, my big one, Shubs Capo, and that just right place, right time. And we were talking about this earlier, but being out at Summer NAMM in Nashville, and
You went to NAMM?
see that's man. Anybody you want an endorsement, go to NAMM.
I wanted to go to NAMM so bad.
It's awesome, especially
Not Vietnam, by the way. That's a
it's
giant music gear convention.
National Association for Musical Merchants.
There you go.
So if you're a gear nerd, specifically, you need to go to NAMM.
The key,
It's amazing.
I would die to
It's
go to
3 days
NAMM.
of gear heaven,
Yeah.
you know. But my Shub, I went to go purchase some because you can buy some things while you're at NAMM. So I went by the Shub's booth and to see if they had the slides that I use for lap steel. And so Gary Shub was there, and I got to meet him and stuff.
Chubby, you met him?
Yeah, like I got to meet him and everything. And so in the conversation, I was like, I pulled out mine. I had mine in my pocket, and I pulled out my slide.
There you go.
And I was like, man, I want you to know, like, I'm 2,000 gigs plus deep on this slide.
Yeah.
This is the only one of your product I've ever bought, and I've loved it. And I lose it all the time, so I want to buy another one. You know, and so I was like, can I buy 3? And so they invited us to the after party, which the best thing about NAMM is the after parties, 100%. Because that's where all the music goes down and all the jamming and
I really want to go.
the boutique pedal guys will have like their after party and what's that guitar company?
Fender,
No,
Marshall,
Sure.
Gibson,
starts with an R.
Rickenbacker.
Reverend
Yeah.
Guitars. They do a big after party. And so I went to the after party, right? Hung out with them, got to play and everything like that. They kind of looked me up online and stuff that night. And then the next day I went to go just to say, hey, thank you. I had a great time. And they were like, awesome. Would you like an endorsement? And just like, bam.
They asked you.
Yeah, and just flat out asked. And I was like,
Wow.
yeah. And then immediately was like, sweet, here's all the paperwork. You know, and just like immediately filled out the paperwork. And
So they saw you play too, right? I imagine.
yeah, we played at
Okay.
the after party. And
Well, I just meant that the.
but the biggest, it's funny because what I took away from the conversation was the main reason why they offered it to me so quickly is because I was half the age of anybody else they endorsed. And at the time, I still had the
That's
big hair, the long hair,
Interesting.
and covered in tattoos. I looked totally different
Yeah.
because a lot of their guys is a lot older of a generation, bluegrass. I was stoked about their product, and coming from a totally different world that they had no involvement with. But now those guys are awesome. If I ever have to contact them for anything, the positive side, but also the downside of their product is, I had one that I was 2,000 gigs deep. I got 3 more. I really don't need anything else from them.
Yeah, but you got to meet the guy that made
Yeah,
it, and then
yeah,
then
so-
talk to him, and he's like,
I still have open dialogue with them and stuff like that.
Well, this goes back to like the first guest that we had on was the drummer in Melody Trucks band, Sean Taunton.
Who?
Sean Tom,
And,
my double ganger.
Yeah.
That's my brother. I love that guy to death,
He's being
man.
facetious right
Yeah,
now.
yeah,
He's
yeah.
being an idiot.
I love that guy.
Sean.
Oh, he leaves an impression.
Yeah.
I've known Sean since I was 19 actually.
Yeah, you're not a high school buddy yet, though.
No, I worked at Schroeder's with them.
Oh, right on.
Yeah,
right on.
yeah. I've known him for a very long time.
So Sean is a guy who amazes me with his ability to build relationships with people.
Everybody.
Yeah, everybody.
Everybody.
I don't know how he does it, but
Because he's the life of the party.
Yeah, he's
Yeah.
yes,
100%
he's 100% the life of the party.
That's why
And-
well, we get along together.
You get
well.
each other.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like
Yeah, but you're not very social though. You don't really like people in general. Sean
Says the
just-
reptilian. Keep going.
Yeah. So Sean is really good about developing relationships with people and just kind of like, I don't know, like you said, he's the life of the party.
Yeah.
But in this, the reason why I bring it up is because the first kind of topic that we were going with Sean was building those relationships. I feel like that's what going to NAMM and meeting these people is all about. So like the reason why you got that endorsement,
It's not the
was
right place, right time. Yeah.
is that you spoke to them
Yeah.
and you were like, and then you went to a party and you hung out with them and they saw who you were and you were likable and you made that connection and there was like, do you want to be endorsed by us?
Yeah.
It was like just building that relationship.
that's a 10-year wait, like he said. You say yes to
it.
everything.
Yeah.
see it. Yeah.
Yeah,
And I've
exactly.
gotten
I like
endorsements
that a
I
lot.
hated. You know,
You what?
I've had endorsements that I hated, and
you
I
want,
was
you want to spill some beans?
yeah,
Or
yeah, fuck mod tone,
mod tone?
mod tone pedals, but they're not even a company. I think they're out of business. now,
Oh,
you know,
okay. I
so
was gonna say is I remember them like they were getting some traction for a
trying
while.
to, but yeah, mod tone, man, they like I really sought out. I was just trying to collect up endorsements and stuff like that to make
Yeah.
my website look better and everything, and but they were horrible products,
Yeah.
you know, and like
what didn't you like about them?
everything.
Was it well, so
The first time he used it out of the box was the best it was going to sound.
Yes.
It was all downhill after that.
So without getting because people don't like the gear talk so much, but what about the
That's not
partnership?
true. It's just me.
no we
I
had,
like it. I'm the guest, isn't that?
No,
important?
I know.
That is-
That's true.
that is
That's
true,
true.
that is
You guys
true.
in my house, you can talk about whatever you want to.
so
Keep it non-political.
what about like was there like something wrong like was there anything wrong with the partnership or with
No, I mean they were pretty. No, it was just kind of. No, the partnership was actually pretty good. They were one of those companies where I had to like realize why am I even trying to do this with these guys if I don't stand behind your product?
yeah for sure
You know, like, and so my thing about I'm a huge gear nerd, but something that's super important to me is like durability, right? Like, so these pedals or whatever our gear is, it's in my pedal board. I'm stomping on it all night. I throw it into a bag. I throw it into the back of the trailer. It bumps and rides down the road. And I take it out and I repeat that process the next night. It's got to be durable, you know?
Right.
And so like, and then also I may or may not like it. So now I'm at that point where it's like, if I'm going to go out of my way to do something for your company, I really need to kind of believe in it too.
Yeah,
Not
of
that I'm
course.
anything special by no stretch, but I'm just not going to do it for people that I like just for the sake of having I have an endorsement with them.
right
You know, it's not worth it.
it's kind of like making an investment into something. It's
Yeah,
like you want to
yeah.
believe in the product before anything else.
Yeah.
But how
you
do
know?
you get one of those though? Like, did you reach out to them to get a?
With Monotone,
Yes.
my dad actually hooked that one up, being through the store and
Well, I
his
wanna
contacts. He
I
made
want to
that
get
one.
sponsored by somebody, but how
Uh,
how would I do it
You
as
know,
a
what, DR Strings.
rough and tough and kind of musician that has no sponsor and
okay.
no talent?
So you had a sponsor. You had an endorsement in DR.
I still kind of do.
You
I
still
guess.
do?
Yeah, yeah.
That's badass.
I have Westbrook. I have West's Customs.
Is that wait?
my
does
lap steel strings?
Willis has that too, or is that
No,
Willis,
Willis
GHS?
has GHS now.
Okay,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah,
I used
yeah.
those boomers for a long time. Yeah.
So mine was just right. I contacted them and I needed a specialty set for lap steel, and then it was like, oh, we don't make that, but we can. And then it was just like, oh, bam, here's your series of strings, West's Customs.
that's
and then
badass.
they kinda
fucking
hooked it-
dope,
and it was just
actually.
kind of one of those. I just, you know, and then I got to hang out with them, talk to them, and hang out with them at NAMM and stuff. And so it's one of those. I was the only guy who ever contacted him, asked for it.
So
Now, I will say all my good sponsorships come from me being a lap steel player, way more than me being a guitar player.
So be what's the word I'm looking for? Not different, but
No, totally different. You know,
uh,
I get the comment all the time. You're the best lap steel player I've ever seen.
Yeah.
And my immediate response always wants to be, you never get to say it when you want to. How many lap steel players have you actually seen?
yeah, right. Yeah, there you go.
Like, can you name one other guy that you've ever seen do this?
right.
Because I'm pretty sure if you can name somebody, they're way better than I am. You know? So,
Well, I think you're a great lap steel player.
I appreciate that. I was fishing for a compliment there. So.
Yeah, but I will say that people definitely aren't as educated on that instrument as they are on guitar players.
It's the camera machine. It doesn't matter how good I am. It doesn't matter what I do on that thing. Second I sit down and start playing lap, the cameras come out.
Yeah.
You know, and so like any momentum that I've gotten has been based off that instrument way more than so than the guitar player. Because I can name all kinds of really good buddies of mine that'll smoke me on guitar.
There's no way that's not true at all.
He won't. Yeah. But I was wondering, like, lap steel and pedal steel. I always got confused with. I know that pedal steel is like this insane instrument, but lap steel is just an open string guitar, isn't it?
Yeah. So lap steel sits on your lap, and pedal steel has pedals. So that's
right, but the pedals on the pedal steel, they change the key, don't they?
They bend or release the note.
I know what I'm talking about.
So depending on the functionality of how you have it set up,
right.
And different pedal steels do different things. So it can either bend up the note a step, or it can release the note.
So why is it lap steel though? Why is it called lap steel?
Because it sits on your lap.
But what's the steel part?
Steel string.
Steel strings. Just like a pedal steel is called a pedal steel just because steel strings and the pedals. And also
it's the bar steel.
Yeah.
Traditionally speaking. So.
Okay, so it's completely different strings.
No, I mean, you still use regular guitar strings, but they're steel strings.
Different sizes too, though, yeah.
But it also ventures back to the old school name. It's not a modern thing. Like, original, and those originally were steel strings.
And how's it different from slide guitar?
A round neck? Like a regular guitar?
Mm-hmm.
Tuning wise, nothing. I mean, I use the same tuning. Derek uses.
That's what I'm just curious about it. So it's the same tuning as a regular guitar.
You just put it on your lap.
Put it on your lap.
The strings are typically raised an inch or two off of the neck. So
it's a completely different instrument and neck and bridge and everything.
Yeah, you physically cannot play it like a guitar.
The difference is with a lap steel, at no point is there anywhere where you can make a dead stop to a note, where this hard position makes the note. Like you have on a guitar, you push the string on the 5th fret, it makes an A. It's a hard mechanical stop. Lap steels don't have that.
There's microtones. There's
just
no frets,
an open string, and you have a slide.
Almost like a jazz bass or something.
Yeah,
a
fretless
bass.
Fretless.
Like
that's what I meant. Sorry.
Yeah.
Like an upright bass or something.
The slide becomes the fret, if you will.
Yeah.
And then when you have, but typically it's different size strings though.
Depending on how you tune, yeah.
Okay, yeah.
Like I use, and there's so many variables on lap steel. Like it's how you tune, your scale length.
Strings versus like 6 strings or
Yeah.
whatever.
8 strings.
Your scale length is important too, because like vintage old school lap steels are 22.5-inch scale. And even some of the old ones go all the way back to 21.
And scale length, for those who don't know, is like the distance between the saddle or bridge and the nut. Yeah.
Yeah, the whole length of the string.
There's something on a guitar called the nut.
It's where the strings rest on the headstock right before it gets to the fretboard.
Man, try to keep up.
Yeah.
I don't know how to play guitar. I'm not trying to ask you the difference between a triangle and a fucking sine wave, but anyways, keep going.
Yes.
The shape.
The shape of the frequency.
And then put them together, and what does that make?
A boom sound.
Yeah.
Ding sound?
Yeah, there you go.
But yeah.
Still the jackass over here. Keep going.
Well, you are right now, for
Yeah, I
sure.
know.
Wait till we
Yeah,
get
I know.
another DJ
The first
on.
step is to admit you have a
Just
problem.
want one other keyboardist to come on this show. That's all I'm trying to say.
Tell me
Not
who
that you haven't been a
just
wonderful guest, by the way.
Tell me who you want to bring on, bud. We'll get him on.
I play keys
You do?
at home by myself when no other musicians are listening. But yes.
Who's a badass keys player?
Who?
Is another guy in the Melody Trucks band, Brady
Brady
Clampett.
Yeah, he
Is,
is really, really good.
Dude, Brady's awesome.
He's very good.
Dude, okay.
He's such a good guitar player, too.
okay.
And great
He
singer
is?
and songwriter.
One of the things
and
Brady doesn't get enough credit for, but I think is Brady's theory knowledge is so out
he
there.
went to Berkeley.
Yeah, like his knowledge is
And he plays
amazing.
piano. That's how you know.
But what he can explain very complicated theory to whatever your level is.
Yeah.
Very layman's terms,
Right.
right? And like, so he's my go-to on a lot of questions.
Because you're lame and
I'm very lame in terms. And I'm like, I don't explain this like I'm stupid, and he's very good at it. You know? But his concept of music and theory in relation to instruments, is just amazing, man. And no, he doesn't. I don't know if he ever gets enough credit for that stuff.
Well, he definitely doesn't, because I didn't know that he did any of that until.
He's always my go-to on terms of, okay, I'm not whatever this is. If it's trying to understand a mode, what scales to use, whatever it is, I'm not understanding this. Explain this to me. And he's always my first go-to guy on how to make that stuff work.
You know what else? Really.
Then he's a phenomenal guitar player.
Yeah. So
he knows how to hold back better than anybody I know,
bro.
dude.
So we talked about this the other night at your house, but I'll say it on camera too. We have to get Brady on here, by the way.
Yeah, I'd love to talk to him. I never got to talk to him in person. I've just only seen him.
He's also fucking hilarious. He's so fucking funny.
He's my second man crush in Jacksonville.
He's my
first.
Yeah.
He's a very beautiful human-like person.
I joked one time and he blushed, I think. So ever since then, he's been my man crush.
Yeah, I'm easily entertained by that. But so I remember I saw Brady at a Blue Jay listening room one time, and he was doing the Monday Night Jazz Jam with Eric Brigman and Kenny Hamilton and all the JJ Gray band and all that. And I remember, so they all, like, he gets up there and they're playing some shit, and they all took their turns and they sounded great. They sounded awesome. But Brady starts playing, and he's just like, the other guys were doing like the funk and jazz kind of stuff. Brady comes in and just lays in some thick blues. I mean, like, so authentically, and every note he played was just perfect.
It's so he holds back.
Yeah,
he's so good at that.
And I was like, I'm watching. I'm like, bro, I know he knows how to do more than that, but I spoke to him after the set, and I was like, yo, you fucking crushed it up there. And he was like, I knew who I was up there with. He was like, he's like, yeah, I mean, I know that I could do more. Like, basically what I took away from that was I know that I can do more than that, but in that moment, it wasn't my time to do more than that. Yeah. I'm going to do what I do best versus what those guys do best. Yeah. And those guys crushed the jazz and the funk stuff. And he was like, I'm not doing that right now. Like, this is not my time to do that. Right now, my time is to fucking play some blues. Yeah. You played some blues and it was just like, yo, that was, every note that you played was perfect.
Dude, playing with, and melody, there's so many times, like, me and Willis, we'll peak. We've already peaked, sometimes twice. And so, like, but Brady's still over there and he hasn't peaked yet. And you anticipate it, and he holds it back, and then whenever he does peak, because he's made you hold back for it. I mean, sometimes we'll be 5 songs in. Me and Willis have.
He's not even drinking, guys.
Right? Yeah. We've peaked 5 or 6 times at this point in the set.
Yeah.
And Brady hasn't peaked once, but then whenever he does, it's so like it puts everything to shame.
Ladies,
you're like. Yeah. He's a taken man.
I'll take his time.
He's in a Facebook relationship.
Yeah, I was trying to say,
you
know what Brady means in Latin, don't you?
What?
Slow.
Oh, that's actually a perfect. Like,
did you learn that in South Florida?
No, I was just wondering where the word Brady comes from because that's my man crush is Tommy.
Tommy who?
Tommy B, number 12.
Oh, Tom Brady.
Yeah, there you go.
I thought Brady Clampett was your man crush. I was like, you never even seen him before.
No, I know. No, that's not true. I've seen the Melody Trucks band before.
Oh, okay.
Can we talk about that? How that all started?
The
Melody Trucks band.
Kind of. So Ginger Beard Man was a thing, and we started doing a lot of like, hey, we're a hired rhythm section. If you want to hire us, we'll do something. We'll back you up, pretty much.
You do like Bryce Allister
and stuff. Yeah, and so we were kind of trying that avenue out. What it would be like to be that kind of hired rhythm section. Well, then we were playing in downtown at 1904 for some event. I don't know.
Oh, the outdoor.
Yeah, because Bonnie Blue was outside on the stage out on the street.
Yeah.
And as soon as they finished, we started playing on inside of 1904, and there was another stage somewhere too. I think outside, but so Melody was sitting in with Willis and Bonnie Blue there, and that's the night I met her. But I didn't really know who she was. Like, I just met her, and at the end of the night, I just we talked about bands and her wanting to start a band and stuff like that, and so I just made that casual comment at the end of the night. Hey, if you're looking to start a band, we are a hired rhythm section. Give me a call. Ironically, like a week later, she calls me.
Yeah, there you go.
And then she was like, I'm thinking about starting a band and stuff. And I was like, okay, cool. What is your idea? What do you know? And then she's like, I'm thinking about doing this and getting Brady Clampett and Isaac Corbett from the corporate Clampett experience, and then get Willis Gore from Bonnie Blue. And then I was like, all in one band?
Yeah, I know.
like, I'm in. So that's kind of how it all got started, was just on that whim.
What's it like being in a band with a bunch of band leaders?
Yeah, what's it like being
It's
in
fun.
the Blues Brothers?
The Blues Brothers.
No, I'm just saying, just have like all the best musicians all in one fucking
it
band.
was-
It's amazing.
Fucking like Paul
it's-
Schaefer and
it's-
like
No, I know, it's amazing.
It's difficult at times, because we all have that we've done this for a long time mentality, So it's shown difficulties because of that aspect. But also, I would like to say for myself definitely, but I would like to say for everybody, it made us all better musicians.
Yeah.
Because
Got to, man.
we had to really learn each other,
Yeah.
not just our playing styles, but
Personalities.
yeah, we
and-
spent a lot of time together, and that became a 7-piece band, and what was a big van until you put 7-piece band in it, and then you're like, this isn't that big.
Sounds so cool.
and
though.
then you start traveling. So, but it all, I would like to say it definitely made me better being around Willis and Brady, and then also Isaac a lot, just trying to comp his licks,
Yeah.
with the battles.
Isaac is such a great harmonica
But then it
player,
also
man.
like it put me in a position where I had to learn to play my role, because like I can't do the stuff Willis is doing, so I need to stay away from that area completely. Like I don't need to try to peak in that fashion. And same with him in my fashion. We all kind of figured out where the strengths were, and then that's what got highlighted from each player.
Right.
Like the real big strengths. So like initially I was going to be an active guitar player in the band. But then I ended up playing guitar on like 3 songs. Then it was only lap steel. And my solo breaks kind of became where my solo breaks were going to be, and same with Willis. And we just figured out what everybody's strengths were. But it all made us better players. So many aspects.
For sure.
I've learned so much from Brady Clampett, it's ridiculous. And I probably don't tell him enough, but from him specifically out of the band, musically, I've just learned so much from him.
Yeah.
He's such a knowledgeable guy.
Yeah, and he's just like, I don't know, just an easy guy to talk to. And
Yeah,
just
easy guy
be
to hang out
around.
with.
Yeah.
We take our kids fishing a lot.
Oh, you do it
Yeah,
together?
We hang out and fish a lot. Yeah.
That's awesome, man.
So,
That's so cool.
Yeah, Brady's good peeps, man. He really is. But out of him, I would say probably I learned the most from. Musically, definitely.
That's awesome.
Isaac's got a lot of knowledge on being on the road, probably more so than anybody else in the band.
Yeah.
The guy pretty much spent most of his adult life touring on the road.
Yeah, he's
You
got
know.
a lot of road experience.
Yeah, like
for sure,
literally
man.
living in a van.
Yeah.
For years on end. So we all had something to teach each other. We all have our strengths, So it was good, man. I love it to death. I love that band.
That's awesome, man.
And
The
it's
album,
fun.
the album is fucking great too.
Thank
Yeah,
you.
definitely.
Hell
I like
yeah.
it.
We were listening to that on the way down to where you're from, in St. Pete, actually.
Yeah.
I remember that because we were going over the giant bridge when you cross from Tampa to St. Pete or whatever.
Gandy Bridge.
Yeah, what?
Gandy or Skyway?
Skyway.
Skyway Bridge.
Skyway, yeah.
And then we were listening to
Melody Trucks album.
Freight Train is
Freight
the name?
Train?
Freight Train, yeah, that's the
Yeah.
name of the song, yeah.
It's a great album.
I just
If-
remember
and
that
Check
memory.
it out on Spotify, by the
Yeah.
way.
Melody Trucks Band. Woohoo.
Yeah.
man. I'm really happy
It's-
for
I'm
all
pr-
y'all's
I'm-
success.
I'm proud of the record, definitely for my little aspect on it. Everybody kind of contributed, wrote a tune to contribute.
For
and,
sure.
I love the record. Fire Inside's probably my favorite song.
It's a great song. Yeah.
And I had absolutely nothing to do with anything of it other than record my parts, But it's Brady and Isaac wrote that one, and lyrically speaking, it's one of my favorites on the record. Musically,
on.
it's a very uplifting song.
Yeah, for sure. It's
You
really
know,
good, man. I remember that one.
But I dig the whole record because even though there were so many different writers for the record, because each member kind of wrote. Shane wrote Jellyfish. I wrote
Yeah.
Living a Lie. Brady and Isaac wrote. Willis Gore wrote. Damn, what's I can't remember the name of the one he wrote. The one he's singing. Everybody contributed to writing on that record, but it still sounds like one conclusive band.
Right.
It doesn't sound like
It's all very cohesive.
Yeah, 6 different writers or
Right.
whatever,
Right.
And then we all kind of, everybody, and when Brady would write a tune, like he would write the general idea, and then the song got built around it.
That's kind of how we approach a lot of stuff too. Someone brings an idea, and we kind of just build around the idea. It's a good way to do it.
Yeah.
Rather than trying to come up with a concept on the spot and have everyone start talking about this and talking about that, and like you have ideas you can't get out, and
we just would play around, and then when something sounded good, we would come back to it and try to revise that idea.
For sure.
But then we actually did both concepts, because there was a few spots where Brady would pre-record stuff at his home studio and be like, these are the ideas, go home and learn this with you, and
Right.
so we kind of did both concepts. The whole record just came out really well.
Yeah, man.
We're happy with it, so for what it is,
Definitely.
Hell yeah. Well, we should get to unpopular opinions.
Unpopular opinions.
Yeah. Let's do that.
Why? You got something else you want to talk about?
No, not at all. I was trying to think of something else to ask you, but I just wanted to say, yeah, Melody Trucks, the band and everything like that, it's incredible.
Out of every band I've ever been in, it's been hands down for traveling. Just the whole aspect of it has been one of the best experiences of my life musically.
Yeah.
You guys really seem like you guys really feel like a family.
We are.
Yeah.
We have.
You got it together.
Yeah.
It's I suggested something on our very first show, and it ended up being, so we get around in a circle, and everybody made fun of it at first, and we all stand in the hands in a circle, and we just kind of say something positive into the group, and it was one of those things that everybody was super nervous for that first show, and then so it was my last minute idea, like we stood in a circle, everybody just say something positive, throw some love out there, let's get ourselves in the mindset, which became a tradition for the band, and to not knowing at the time, but it was one of those things that like really set the family aspect into stone. And then we would go out of town, and we would pull people, opening bands and stuff like that, or headliners or whatever, to come and join our circle, sound guys, and we'd start doing it. It would start to really kind of solidify that this was a very family kind of unit and stuff. But it's for every aspect, for the fun of it. Because of Melody, I've got to meet and become friends with people that were heroes to me. I got to meet Luther Dixon because of her and become buddies with him. And I learned how to play slide off of his instructional DVD. So
amazing.
like we got to meet and play music with O'Teal because of her, and it was a lot of situations happen at a really right period of time. There's a lot of reasons why we all connect in that band that a lot of outside people might not necessarily know.
Yeah.
So there's quite a few members in the band that have lost a parent, and then ultimately with Melody's dad dying, that's what made her want to go to music. And so there's so many little connections there that we're a family, and we've all been through it for so much that we were allowed to be real with each other, on terms of we don't have to put up the masks that go along with the career when it's just us.
Right.
Because we've all been struggling through the mud for so many years.
That's for sure, man.
We get to be real and deep with each other, and it was amazing. Some of my fondest memories ever of being on the road is definitely 100% with that band.
That's awesome, man. That's such a great experience to have.
Yeah.
And there's definitely stuff that we've been thinking about doing, like that circle before the show, and kind of we've talked about all that too. We haven't gotten into. I think there's a similar kind of attitude towards it where it's like, I don't know if this is kind of like dumb kind of shit.
I think I was at first, but then, we've literally had moments where members needed to get shit off their chest.
Yeah.
And it came off their chest, or whatever the situation, it's always been that moment. And it was quirky at first. I know it was, and everybody thought it was weird. I'm the one who first suggested it. But it's paid off.
Right.
There's been times where somebody might be mad at another member for whatever reason. and stuff got out there.
So what do you do before you get started? You guys air that out before you get on stage?
Well, it's not really airing it out. It's as much as it is just throwing some love out, you know.
Okay.
And it's just like sometimes admitting that you might be wrong and saying you're sorry, but I love you guys for having my back, or thank you for lifting us up, thank you for doing these things for us, you know. And it's always just throwing a little bit of love out, and it always puts you in a little bit better mindset before you walk out on stage.
I love that, man. That's
Yeah,
so cool.
yeah.
When I played with Rock and Jake, we would always just do a fist bump right before.
Yeah.
It was just like, didn't really matter what was going on. It's like we all just threw this fist bump.
Yeah.
Before we got on stage, we did that, and it was like, all right, guys, because of that one thing, like we're all in the same exact boat right now.
Yeah.
And let's just fucking make this the best show that we possibly can.
Yeah, it's so like if there's 15 people in that circle, if you're in a bad mood but you hear 15 really positive things back to back, you're gonna be in a better mood.
Yeah, man.
You know what I
That's
mean?
just
Like,
a great way of looking at
it
it. We
is
gotta
just-
start doing that before shows.
We do.
It's made a big
We
difference.
do. Usually what happens is we'll get on stage and Sean will look at me and be like, yo, your energy sucks right now.
No, that's what I was
You need
gonna
to get
say.
a drink.
It puts everybody kind of on the same page.
The
you know?
rest of us do.
Yeah,
You're not involved.
Oh.
We
you
all
guys
bet.
are-
We all bet on when it is you're gonna mess up.
Oh, is that what happens? You guys are, but you know, this is a very, so going back to being a band leader, this is a very important thing
And
to
then
understand.
me, Sean, and Aaron all look at each other and just like laugh, like smile as big as possible when you do.
Yeah. And I'm totally okay with that. And this is the kind of thing.
And
that
what are you
have to-
talking about? We do. We just don't do it before every show.
Yeah,
We hang out and play poker.
Yeah, we
that's
play
our
poker.
thing.
Yeah, of course. We should do like a ritual thing like that though at some point. But this is also a very big thing
I
about
feel
being
like
a
you're
band
trying
leader.
to force it now.
Okay. So being a band leader, and I'm sure you've experienced this, you have to just realize that everyone's gonna have an opinion about the way that you do things. That
That's
you're
just-
not aware of,
Yes.
right? And
Yes.
they're all going to talk to each other about how you're doing your job.
Exactly.
Right?
I'm messing with you, but
no,
we
no,
don't.
no,
do
No,
that.
this is true.
No,
We
no,
don't
This
no,
is
do
100% true. I know
We
this.
don't do that.
This is not a call out scenario. This is
I
not.
feel like this is a gotcha podcast.
This is not a call out scenario or like me
Being
trying to like,
punked right now.
or like me trying to belittle myself in any way. This is what ends up happening is that there's always gonna be this dynamic. Like when you work at any job, like everyone's gonna have an opinion about how the manager is doing something.
It doesn't matter.
And
It doesn't necessarily have to be this job too.
Right, yeah, it's any job. And so if you're in that position, then they're all gonna have an opinion, and because they are in a certain part of the ship that you might not be always in, they're gonna talk amongst themselves about how you're doing the job and have their own opinions on it.
Nah.
And that's just be okay with that.
You have to be.
You have because and you have to know that you would be, if you were in the same situation, you would have that same opinion, and it's completely okay that people have those opinions about what you're doing, and they should be able to have those opinions. And also, if you're in like a band, like when you're like, responsibility is delegated, right? Like there's been times where I've been called out for certain things, like where you've called me out or where Sean has called me out, where Aaron's called me out.
Yeah.
And
You get
you
called
have
out a
to
lot.
set your ego aside and just be like, you know what? We're a band, and there's a reason why I'm getting called out right now, and maybe you should check yourself. Like, it's just be okay with that, with the dynamic that's taking place at the time. Be okay with people having an opinion and casting judgment on you. Be okay when you get called out because maybe you need to be called out. Like, just be okay with all of it. It's like a band is a business, but at the same time, it's like there's a certain camaraderie.
Family
Man,
business.
yeah,
it's
it's
like
I
the
got-
it's a
fucking
family
mob.
I got to tell
bus.
this story. And
Exactly.
it was a Melody Trucks thing, and we're on the road, and we were ended up at North Carolina at Isaac's cabin, staying for a few nights because we had a few nights off in between cities, and we all everybody gets in whatever mindset that they're in.
Yeah.
and so we had pretty much a chew out session.
I heard about
where
this. Yeah.
where we had a Gatorade bottle, and you could, if you weren't holding the Gatorade bottle, you couldn't talk. You know, and we literally just chewed out everybody for everything that was pissing us off, and it was one of the best things the band ever did.
God,
heard
I
about
would hate
this,
that
yeah.
so much.
And
Sean told me about this.
Yeah, like literally, like literally. All right, it's your turn. And
Yeah.
whatever problem you had,
No, I get
you
it.
gave it to them.
No, it's
I
a Lord of
love
the
that.
Fly situation
And
for
like,
sure.
and we just kept going around and going around, and up until the wee hours of the morning,
Oh,
and we
fuck.
just chewed each other out.
Okay.
But one of the best things that could ever happen to that band.
We should do that too.
Yeah,
I
that was
would
one of
hate
the
that
best
so
things
much.
ever.
I
It
love
was
it.
like, and then at the end of it, we hugged each other and we loved each other more for it. You know?
Bro, I mean, like, it goes back to what we were saying earlier, communication, man.
Yeah.
Just the importance of communication within the band, and just like you have to again, it is a business, but the structure sometimes has to be a little bit different in the sense where there is a person handling a lot of the administrative stuff, and that's kind of the band leader, but like the communication, like any place where the morale is really good, any place that you work at, the manager's always pretty open-minded or pretty open about what's happening. With a band, you have to be that way. Like you have to, even though you might be the band leader, you don't want to keep details. Like if you're paying your guys a certain amount of money, you don't want to tell them that you're only getting paid that amount of money. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like everyone should be aware of what's happening, know where the funds are going to, like
Yeah.
know what the downfalls and the like the weak links are.
Because you're
like,
not just going to work with them either, man. It's like
going there. You're living with them on
you're
the road.
living with them.
You're
You spend more time with them than you do your spouses
There
at
you
times.
go.
straight
Yeah.
up, and like you're creating with them. You're putting yourself in the most vulnerable state that you can be in.
Truly.
You're creating with them, but you're also consistently putting yourself equally out there to be judged.
Exactly.
And so like it's you're just as vulnerable, in those situations too equally.
Exactly.
That's the thing too, is this career is like everything about this business has been I'm putting myself out there to be judged. The one thing I have learned definitely, everybody's got an opinion on me. It doesn't matter if it's good, bad, different, what they think about me. Everybody's got an
Everyone's
opinion.
got one.
And so I've heard the saying multiple times. It takes a whole lifetime to build a good reputation. It takes one shitty night to get a bad one.
Yep.
And that's the thing is like I'm an asshole to somebody somewhere.
For sure.
Somebody's got an asshole story about me.
Man,
And I earned it at that moment. I probably was an asshole. Like
Sometimes
I
you
can
gotta
do it
be
with the
that
best of them.
sometimes, though.
Like so. But everybody's got an opinion about you.
For sure, man.
Speaking of opinions,
Speaking of opinions, it's time for unpopular opinions.
let's
again.
wrap it up. This is a great interview.
Bro,
This
I
was
love
good.
this.
This is a
so
good
much
one.
fun, man.
This is a very not emotional. What's the word I want to say? But not in depth either. I don't know what to say
Insightful?
about. No, I guess insightful,
Insightful?
but more emotional. I don't know what to call it.
I like to consider myself a bit of an emotional dude.
Are you an empath? Are you a creative? I love those words, by the way, when people say like things like, "Oh, that's." I'm gonna save that one. I'm not saying it right now.
He's not.
That's good. That's
he's
gonna
not
be
from
that's gonna
this
be
dimension, so he has no soul or
So this
feelings.
isn't my unpopular opinion because I thought
I was
already
first.
worked out, but
Are you
I
gonna
will
go
say
first?
I will say that I hate when people use terms like oh well they're a creative.
What?
I hate that.
I don't
so
know what that
much.
term even means.
I don't know what you're talking about.
I don't
You've
either.
never heard that before?
And
No.
what was the
well,
other one you said? Empath?
An empath.
What is that?
Somebody who's just in tune with how people feel about things, whether or not you've experienced. Because empathy, right? Empathy is something that we haven't necessarily experienced, but we can feel that you feel pain about something. We can understand that you feel right. That's what empathy is, right? Not sympathy, but empathy. That's what empaths are. People that feel everybody's around them, like everyone's emotions around them.
Yeah, I'm one of those.
No, you're not.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I-
I don't know if I am or not.
So that's not my unpopular. I'm gonna save that.
If I care about you, I feel like I can.
Yeah, well, right. So I feel like most people are like that. Then we have empaths that are like everybody around them.
They just feel their energy.
They just feel
level.
their energy.
I can feel your
you know.
energy.
Yeah. So my first unpopular opinion of the night
Go ahead.
is a lot of people say that there's no good music coming out anymore, and I completely disagree with that.
100%
statement.
disagree with that.
It's like, bro, there's so much good music coming out. Just because you don't
You
hear it on
disagree
the
with
radio.
him?
No. I agree. I disagree
agree with him?
I agree with him. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. So
See, this is what I said. It's not an unpopular opinion.
No,
This
it is
I
unpopular
did-
because there's a lot of people that will say that that there's no good. Even people that like music coming out today will say there's no music coming out today because it sounds like music that came out 40 years ago.
Oh,
see
okay.
what I'm saying?
Okay. So this is, I recently did another podcast, but we had a similar type of debate on this, and my answer to this was it was about country music. Okay, and everybody's like, I hate country. You don't hate country because you love Hank Sr. You don't like certain people. It's not that there's bad music. People hate the platform in which music is delivered to them.
Right.
So like if it's not being delivered to you from a high paid source like Clear Channel or these radio stations, then you have to physically go search
Exactly.
for
No one
it.
wants
It's
to do
not
work
just
for it.
handed to you.
Exactly.
So like that's the difference is like there's still phenomenal great music. There's still in every genre of
Especially
music.
country, as Sturgill Simpson, Tyler Childers.
Yeah,
I mean,
like-
there's so much good music out there.
But
man,
you- but
across
it's
the
not-
board.
But new music is what you said.
in general.
Yeah.
Just, but what I mean by new
But
music.
but you're saying like like that the one that they're serving to you is the McDonald's of music, which is
Yeah,
just
it's fast
bad.
food, yeah.
They're playing the pop tunes that they're being paid to play the top 12 over and over and over again. And so they're not playing the B cut stuff that could be really good.
Yeah.
Even
You
from
know?
those top artists, you know what I
Yeah,
mean?
yeah,
Like,
exactly.
There could be shit on those records that's actually pretty good.
So it's a platform typically that I feel like people hate the most.
Exactly.
But they're generalizing it by saying it's music. But no, it's not music. You still love music. It's the platform
Exactly.
that's being shoved down your face that you don't agree with.
Right.
You know, because there's really good music out there. You got to go find it.
And we've all
Yeah.
worked. I mean, we've all shared bills with other bands, and we're like, "Yo, this band's badass." And you're just like, "How can people say there's no good music coming out today when this band is playing
Go
in
to a
front of me
music
to
fest.
fucking 10 people?" Yeah,
Yeah.
a music festival. I mean, go to a local show at a local venue that that has a 200, 300 cap, room. Well, just go see what's happening there that night. You
Yeah.
know, it's like just you'll find something that you like. There's
My
so much good
music
out there
festivals is
today.
what does it for me, because I don't care what festival I play. I tend to be more excited about after
of
of the band that I had. Once it's all done and we're leaving, right? The most thing I'm excited about had nothing to do with my set, and it was the band that I had no idea who they were, but they blew my mind.
Yeah.
You know, like that's
True. That's like the best part of a festival.
the best
Seriously.
part is
like
whenever
100%.
you're
It's
leaving.
how it works
Like,
out
can't wait to look them up
90%
when
of
you
the
I
get
don't
home.
give two fucks about my set. You
Yeah.
know, but then, like,
Or even the band that you were most excited to see.
Yeah.
So you say, I want to see that band the whole weekend. And you saw them, that was awesome. And then you see another band that you didn't expect to see. You're like, yo.
yeah.
They crushed
I saw Kung Fu and Dopapop for the first time at a festival, and I was just like, oh my god! Like
Yeah.
I'd never even heard of this. It was like back in like 2011 or so.
We did
2012.
Swanee Rising,
I was
and
like, yes, not this.
Yeah.
I had heard people talk about New Master Sounds a lot, but I always dismust it and never really thought twice about it.
Yeah, I've known.
But then whenever I saw them,
They're
it was just
incredible.
like, dude, it was amazing, and it changed. Like that was the peak of the weekend for me.
Yeah,
had
definitely.
nothing to do with everything else that I got to do that weekend, but that first New Master Sounds or at Roots, Sarah and I, my other half, Sarah, we were walking around. We went up to go. I don't remember who was headlining Roots, but it sucked. I don't remember who it was, but it sucked. It sucked. And we were about 4 songs in, and we were like, we're leaving. And we left, and we stumbled upon We Banjo 3.
Okay, yeah, you
And
told me about this.
never heard of them,
Yeah,
right?
I've never heard of
And we just walked up at that right moment where we had 8 beats, and then everybody was jumping.
Yeah.
You know, like it was right at that lead up, and sold the whole festival for me. It was such an epic moment where it was just like, holy crap, I'm buying a T-shirt, I'm buying a CD, I'm going to listen to this band and every band that's suggested to me because of this band.
What's
Right.
it
For
the
called?
next-
Like We
We yeah,
Banjo 3.
We Banjo 3.
I'll look them up.
Yeah.
And they were just they delivered a show. They were amazing. It's very bluegrassy
I
Americana.
imagine.
And it like made the whole festival for me. You know,
Oh,
like
yeah,
100%.
man.
Well,
A lot of great music out
Go to
there.
music. The moral of all this tangent is go to more music festivals.
yeah,
For sure.
can't wait till they start opening.
Until we can
up
actually
again.
get to do that again.
Right.
Well, this will be relevant. I don't like hot Pop Tarts. That's my unpopular opinion. I only like cold Pop Tarts.
I don't dislike hot Pop Tarts, but I if I eat them cold.
Yeah, I eat them
I
cold
like
too
'em
most of
the-
the time just because it's easier and you can do it.
We were talking
But-
about this earlier. We were writing down our unpopular opinions, and like his is always about music or somewhat close to it, and mine is just way out of
Just
left
way
field.
off base. It's all right. I agree. I mean, I don't agree like in the sense where I don't like hot pop.
Oh, we're still gonna talk. We're still gonna about Pop Tarts.
I
Okay.
love hot Pop Tarts, but I will also most of the time just not heat them up because you don't need
I eat
to.
raw Pop-Tarts.
Yeah.
All right, anyway, let's move past this.
No, I've got mine right here.
Oh, that's right. Sorry. Usually, oh,
Am
wow.
I supposed to have an unpopular opinion?
Well,
If
but
you
we
want one,
save
yeah,
it for
but
the
you
end. We
usually
save it for the
usually
end. We
the
save
guest
it for the end.
So think about if you don't have
Yeah.
one. My second unpopular opinion is the "Don't Tread on Me" memes are not fucking funny.
I didn't know what they were until you showed them to me today, and I didn't know that was a thing.
People think they're the "Don't Tread on Me"
Tread on
memes.
Me,
Yeah.
Everybody knows
Marines.
the flag.
Yeah.
Everybody knows the flag.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
just I've seen that. First off, I don't know where the flag comes from. I
The
don't really-
Marines.
Oh, for the Marines.
No, it
okay.
comes like way back from the 1700s, doesn't it?
with the snake that says
Yeah.
"Don't tread on me."
Where it's cut into pieces and everything. That's the original colonies.
Oh, okay.
All 13 colonies and everything. It's from a long time ago.
Okay, well I don't know the
I don't know
history
about
of
that.
it. Yeah.
I just know Marines.
Okay.
At least I thought it was.
Well, I remember.
I could be
seeing
wrong.
might
I
be
could,
wrong.
I could be wrong. You,
I think you're wrong.
Yeah,
Okay.
maybe it comes from. I don't know the history of it, so maybe that's why I don't find it funny. But I look at those memes, and I'm like, I don't get this at all. So maybe I'm just an old cranky man.
All right, next unpopular opinion.
All right, I don't know how I feel on that one.
You catch more flies with honey.
Right.
I like to say that. You ever seen the movie Whiplash before?
No.
No, it's a really good movie, but basically it's like.
That's what I'm doing tonight.
Yeah, it's
it's
a
a good
really
I'm
good.
watching that movie.
Okay, well, it's a really good music movie.
It's a music movie. I might watch it.
It's a movie.
Have you ever seen Rent?
Well, no,
it's not. It's not a
but
musical.
it's-
It's a movie about going to music school. And anyways, the whole point is that like
Mr. Holland's Opus.
except like on acid, I guess
Yeah.
you would
Okay.
say, or probably on salvia.
Have you ever
because-
seen Mr. Holland's
of
Opus?
course,
Dude,
yes.
that's an amazing movie.
Yeah, Richard Dreyfuss is a great actor. But the whole point is that the moral of Whiplash is like to berate
Military style teaching.
basically military style student, and just be like,
Sounds interesting.
and then just punch them into the dirt because only the best will come out on top. And I don't like that
I
at
don't know
all.
if that's the moral of the story. I think
It is. We've already come to this conclusion earlier. It is the moral of the
Well,
story.
it's a very military style of teaching that you find at a lot of high profile music schools like Berkeley
Be a
or
machine.
UM and
Yeah, be a machine.
No.
Exactly.
That's not that doesn't create good music or good musicians.
Well, I mean, sometimes it does, but I
it
don't
creates
know.
dickheads and people with fucking complexes.
So you're saying be nicer about the way you
Yes,
teach.
but I believe I have catch more flies. You spelled it incorrectly, but that's okay.
Yeah.
Catch more flies with honey.
Yeah. So be nicer about.
You can catch
how
more
you-
flies and do whatever you want to with those flies.
Th-
That
there's
was a
ba-
stretch.
All right, keep going.
There's a balance for me in that where I believe that you should be that like positive reinforcement should be a thing, and maybe don't be such a dick when people fuck up because music is just music.
Yeah.
But which means that it's also not essential, right? I
Oscar
also
Wilde
believe
said all art is quite useless. I agree with that.
no. Well, I don't think it's useless. I just don't think it's essential.
It's quite useless.
But what I will say is that also there has to be like an acknowledgement of where you're actually at, but then maybe be like, hey, that sounded great. This is what you should be working on now, or maybe try and do this a little bit differently. Like it shouldn't just all be positive reinforcement.
I do. That's my unpopular
Not
opinion.
everybody gets a trophy.
Is what I'm
Exactly.
saying. Give
That's
every.
my unpopular opinion. Not everybody deserves a trophy.
My unpopular
one.
opinion is give
Everyone
everybody gets a trophy.
That's crazy.
It's not crazy because that's elitist. Is
okay,
what you're
so,
saying.
we're moving on from Stalin's idea. Over
Okay,
here,
all
and
right,
we're
yeah.
gonna move on to my
Stalin's
from
idea.
Stalin's idea.
Yeah, I'm
over
a real
here.
communist over here.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm much more into collaborating with other musicians than I am with jamming with other musicians. You know what I mean?
I like both. It depends on said musicians, and it depends on situation.
I think that's what, for me, eliminates the jamming variable, because I eliminate that wild card variable of like, I don't know who I'm up here with. I don't want to fucking jam with them. This isn't working out. Like, if I'm collaborating, I get to really just choose who I'm playing with.
Yeah.
And it doesn't always work out great, right? Sometimes you don't collaborate with people you want to be able to collaborate with. But, like, I have much more control over that situation than I do. If I go up at a jam, I'm up there with a bunch of people that I don't know and just figuring it out. You know what I mean?
See, I feel like for me, my best playing, because the last 15 years for me has been about key of A, go.
Yeah.
And just playing on the spot.
Yeah.
And I feel like for me, when I'm in those situations, that's my best playing.
Yeah.
And depending on who I'm on stage with, could be the most could have the most inspiration on me. You know, like if I got somebody who's next to me who's leaving a big space for me to go, you know, you can't half-ass it or whatever. You know, big pair of shoes to play after or whatever.
Right.
You know, like it makes you play different. You know?
I feel you.
But I like that not knowing what's going to go on, that key of A go, you know, and I have to be on the fly. There's a couple bands that I play with before they broke up, Custard Pie, and
Love
I had
Pie.
every time I got on stage with them was always at a dope festival.
Yeah, that's true.
And I had no fucking clue what was about to happen.
It's so popular. I like jamming more than collaborative.
I like jamming too, and those dudes.
I like the jam. I love it. That moment of not knowing what the fuck is gonna happen.
Man.
I love that. Don't get me wrong. It's not that I don't love it, man, but like, there's a lot of. It's like for me, like the Grateful Dead, right? It's like, yeah, sift through a lot of shit to get to the gems, right? And it's like,
those are fighting words.
Yeah.
yeah, that's an unpopular opinion that we can talk about right
That's
now.
where we're at right now on the show.
But yeah,
Okay.
but it's just like but that's what it is. It's like with jamming, it's like you don't get. First off, Custard Pie was a band that knew how to play with each other. All you had to do is figure out where you fit in that puzzle,
in that equation,
right?
Yeah.
So it's like, but when you're up there with a shit ton of people you don't know, it can be either the best or the worst.
Well, no, but that's the thing too. Is like, ultimately that boils down to is exactly the same thing. Find yourself in the best of that situation, you know. And it's like goes back to that part about talking about Brady. Brady was on stage with all these phenomenal musicians. So it's like, what is the best you can be for this situation too?
Right.
And that doesn't always mean play every note you can play.
Right.
You know, if that means
He also chose. I mean, I'm sorry. Go
you're
ahead.
fine.
Well, he also chose to go into a scenario knowing that he was playing with badass musicians. I'm saying is that sometimes you get put up there with people that you don't know that they're good, and sometimes you're just like, what the fuck is going on stage right now?
Yeah, but okay,
what is
so
happening?
no, okay, I get this, and I've hosted.
I know you know this.
I've hosted jam. I hosted for 6-7 years now
Yeah.
in Jacksonville. So, so I try to do with myself, because there's been situations where you get a drummer up on stage and he doesn't know how to count to 4 and repeat it,
Right.
and that's difficult because that's pretty much mainly their job.
Right.
And so the best attest to being a pro or a good musician is for me knowing that this guy is skipping a beat or whatever it is he's doing. I can still play to the best of my ability with that guy. You know,
I feel you, yeah.
So that's what pushes you. You know, in the jam situation where I'm hosting an open jam, sometimes I'm forced to be in this situation for the next 4.5 minutes, right? I've got to be. Yeah. So how can I be the best that I can be dealing with this hurdle, whatever that hurdle might be?
Sometimes that means not playing at all.
Yeah. Now, yeah,
I do
exactly.
that way too often.
No, exactly. Sometimes that's it too. It's just not play.
Yeah.
You know, like, and
I guess that's a good outlook on it. You know, just for me personally, I'm very big on being in the studio and writing in the studio and having just being able to see where our minds can go when we're not limited to the fleeting moment. You know, and when you get to work with other artists in that capacity, you get to really see their full abilities and the full spectrum of their imagination. And then you can work within your full spectrum of your imagination and see where that goes without the limiting experience of being on stage in a fleeting moment. There is, of course, an art to working within those limitations, and I love jamming, okay? I'm not taking anything away from it. I've grown as a musician because of the jams, just getting thrown into these crazy situations that otherwise wouldn't have gotten to experience. I've grown as a musician because of that. But just as in the long run, for me, I'm just like, if we collaborate on something, that can exist forever. We got to explore the full capacity of our imagination.
So you like recording more than performing, then?
For sure, yeah. At the end of the day, definitely.
I hate recording.
Yeah, me
I'm a
too.
live player.
I'm right
I'm a
there
live
with you,
player.
but I fucking hate recording. It's the worst.
I want to play live.
All right, here's my last unpopular opinion. You got yours after mine, right?
I've got a couple of them.
All right, mine is I love building IKEA furniture. I'm the only person on the planet that does, and I can do it all day.
I can't speak on that.
I've
I've
It
been putting
sounds
baby
frustrating.
furniture, baby stuff together lately. So
Do you like that?
It was fun.
You like it?
I put the stroller together, and I had to do
I
it.
like putting things together. I guess that's the end
Yeah,
of it.
it sounds really unimaginative and just very whatever. It's cool.
Okay.
I mean, it's cool. I'm not gonna lie. I like to smoke a bowl and sit there and do that kind of stuff.
I don't smoke weed, but
I do. Medical
well,
marijuana is legal in the state of Florida.
That's all right. I'm not dissing it.
Just in case. Just in case.
I mean, I drink enough fucking whiskey in a week to kill a cat, but I'm just trying to say that I don't know.
That's what you like to do.
I will.
You're not very creative. I get it.
No,
I understand.
not at all.
Wes, what's your last unpopular opinion?
Okay, my
I was fucking you, Bill.
That's okay. I have feelings, but you don't.
Yeah.
a lot of musicians are not worth the pay scale that they think they are.
I knew this was gonna come out tonight. And I love it. I love it.
We've had this conversation multiple times.
Wait, are you getting more money than us?
No.
Probably, but that's not what he's talking
Is that
about.
what you're talking about?
No, unpopular opinion. I feel like there's a lot of musicians out there who think they're worth a certain amount of money and they're not.
Hey, if you're not selling tickets, then you get market value, motherfucker. That's
Market value. But okay, so break down market value. We've had this exact conversation. I want to break this down. Okay, market value. Let's say on the low end of the scale, you make $100 for a 4-hour show.
Right.
Okay, that's the low end of market value. Right?
If you're playing a solo act,
no, if you're playing a solo act, it's probably more.
that's still the minimum. That's a super low end.
So super low end, right? Okay, for 4 hours, $100 per man.
Yeah.
I should say. Okay, so if you break that out on that's a 4-hour gig. Let's say it's 6 hours. You get an hour set up, an hour tell 6 hours. That breaks down to $16.50 an hour. What job can you go get with no education, with no prior experience, with nothing, walking out the gate and demand $16.50 an hour?
Chick-fil-A.
McDonald's in the new age.
That work at Chick-fil-A. Then
We're working minimum wage.
And I'm not saying that all musicians. There are a lot of musicians who are worth what they get paid. Absolutely.
Yeah.
But the idealism that you deserve this much money because you think you're that good and that's what you're worth is stupid.
Yeah.
Okay? We talk about the bar bands compared to original acts. Okay.
Yeah.
I have the benefit of seeing both sides of the coin because I happen to manage and run a bar. But whenever you play the bar scene, you as a bar manager, right? I'm hiring you for a service. Your service is to sell alcohol and keep this bar going, okay? And so, if you can't do that, then for whatever this ridiculous amount of money is if I can't make a certain percentage based off of that number, as a business, we lose money, right? So like, there's a lot of musicians, not all, but a lot of musicians who have this idealism of what they seem to think they're worth in pay. And it's like, for what? You didn't do shit. You slept all fucking day. You haven't practiced in 3 fucking months. You barely made a Facebook post. You haven't advertised yourself. You haven't done anything except for demand a certain amount of money to show up at a certain time. That's all you've done.
Yeah, you got to prove. You got to prove.
Unpopular opinion. I
No,
know
yeah.
This is very unpopular.
I don't think it's unpopular at all. It's you got to prove to the person who you're selling yourself to how much you're worth.
It's unpopular to most musicians though, because there's a lot of musicians that are just like, well, like if I've been playing for 10 plus years and I deserve this amount of money, I'd say, motherfucker, you're playing at a bar. Okay, this is what my budget is. If you're not fucking selling tickets, and you're good, you get the highest market value that I can give you, and that might be this amount of money, but you don't get more than that just because you think that you're better than that.
Or the we've had this conversation too, the playing for tips thing. So that boils down to the whole statement I've made multiple times throughout this. How bad do you want it? How much are you willing to sacrifice? Because I promise you, the guy who's willing to sacrifice several years playing for tips is going to get a hell of a lot farther come the end game than the guy who goes, nah, I'm too good for that. I'll never do anything of that nature. I have to make this amount of money.
Right.
If that's your only answer, and you don't put yourself in those memes of, oh, it's for the exposure. Well, if you're looking short term or long term, that's how you have to look at it. You know, in terms of your career.
Yeah, if you want to fucking make real money, then write tunes and sell tickets. Period. Hashtag write tunes, sell tickets. And on that note, this has been another episode of Bob and Bill. Thank you guys so much for tuning in, West Brook.
What? Yeah. What are you What are you plugging before you go?
What am I plugging?
Yeah, I mean, advertising. We have a
Okay.
huge audience.
I don't know if you guys know this dope band called Side Hustle. They have a really nice shirt,
what
man.
a nice
I want to
guy.
promote those guys because they're my
And you're
boys.
right. They don't know.
They
Yeah,
don't know. They don't know. They don't know anything. I mean, y'all should check them out live once, at least once.
Yeah.
You don't have to go twice. It's all right.
You
No.
should, you
Just
should
one
go
time.
twice, though, because that's
Buy a shirt, man, because this shirt's awesome. I hang out this shirt all the time.
We'll sell you
Fuck
another
yeah.
one on the way out.
Really? Part of it's the color too.
I think we're all sold out of that
This
color.
color's a good
We'll sell you Robin X blue
Can
though.
I get the same color with a black?
Oh,
logo?
we're next round.
Next round.
'Cause I
We
totally-
got you.
That's like a Friday Saturday.
That's all you
thing.
want to plug is our band.
Yeah.
All right.
No,
what a great fucking
check out
guy.
Melody Trucks band.
Spotify and iTunes and all that good shit.
Ginger Beard man. Look, ginger beard, not gingerbread. It's ginger beard. Should be
Play on
common
words.
sense. Yeah, it is a play on words. But you think it'd be like people can figure it out. We
No.
have friends and friends. These are friends, not just fans. They're legitimate friends who have been seeing the band since day one, and they will still call it Gingerbread Man. And I'm like, Jesus.
That was the type of motherfucker.
Yeah. Like, are you kidding me?
All right.
They
Who
can
else
get-
am I gonna plug?
Fucking Bonnie Blue, fucking
Bonnie
Brady
Blue,
Clampett,
Brady-
Isaac Corbett.
All my boys.
All
Firewater Tent Revival.
Fuck yeah.
I play with those guys a lot. I fucking love those dudes. Bryce. Man, everybody in the local scene. We got an amazing scene here. So
Hell
Well,
yeah.
anyways, Wes, thanks so much for coming to my house all the way down from St. Mary's, Georgia. Appreciate
yeah,
it.
dude, it was good.
And we'll see you next week.
See you guys
Peace,
next
y'all.
week.
Adios, muchachos.